Chapter 1245. Xiao Qian was not willing to give Sima Lingxian another mental barrier the moment he got over it. If Xiao Qian used his full power, Sima Lingxian would not be able to receive even one move from him. Sima Lingxian countered with a question. How miserable can it be? Can it be worse than the defeat in the five-nation youth competition? I don't believe it. Xiao Qian did not say anything more. He nodded and said, In that case, make your move. Sima Lingxian, who came prepared, did not gather his aura for long. He took a step forward and drew his sword. White-robed Xiao Qian, do you still remember this move? This is the sixth move of the Emperor's sword technique, crossing 1,000 peaks everywhere. Thousands of mountains appeared out of nowhere. As the sword flew over, it leaped over thousands of mountains. Every time it leaped over a mountain, it would absorb the heavy aura of that mountain. By the time it leaped over 1,000 mountains, the sword had already gathered an unknown amount of heavy aura. The thousands of mountains gathered in the sword, and space suddenly pressed down. Where Xiao Qian stood, the ground suddenly caved in. Aside from where Xiao Qian stood, everything else sank in. This was a familiar scene. Back then, when Xiao Qian fought Sima Lingxian in the five-nation youth competition, he used this move at the end. Unexpectedly, after 10 years, Sima Lingxian had not given up on this move. After studying it, he managed to raise the might of a medial-grade, profound martial technique. This was truly shocking. How much talent and perseverance did one need to achieve this? Unfortunately, the Xiao Qian that Sima Lingxian faced now was also very different from the past. Furthermore, Sima Lingxian had improved even more. The gap between the two was not something that a medial-grade, profound martial technique could make up for. Back then, Xiao Qian had used the four-season saber techniques, Grieving Frost, to break this move. Now, there was no need to go through so much trouble. With a thought, Xiao Qian circulated 5 strands of primordial energy. In that instant, an indistinct emperor's might appeared on Xiao Qian's body. Grand Mist power was far more formidable than the power of heaven laws. In terms of momentum, it instantly suppressed the Grand Mist power. However, at this moment, Xiao Qian still had not moved a single step. His saber had not even been drawn. When Sima Lingxuan's sword was less than a meter away from Xiao Qian, he instantly drew the Lunar Shadow Saber. 70% comprehended lightning saber soul and 5 strands of primordial energy. The absolute difference in strength allowed Xiao Qian to knock away Sima Lingxuan's sword with one saber strike. A look of horror flashed in Sima Lingxuan's eyes. Before he could react, he was knocked back by an irresistible aura that could not be blocked. When Sima Lingxian landed on the ground, he vomited a mouthful of blood. The sword that he sent flying stabbed into the ground beside him. One move, just one move, without even using a martial technique, and Xiao Qian was defeated. Sima Lingxian smiled bitterly and said, Indeed, you lost even more miserably than that time. Actually, I should have known long ago. Given your character, you would never boast. The grievances between us shall end here. Xiao Qian sheathed his saber. When he heard Sima Lingxuan's words, he felt strangely relieved. A grudge was a cause and effect. Being able to resolve this cause and effect was indeed a good thing. After all, they were both from the Sky Dome realm. Whether they were willing or not, they could not deny this fact. After thinking for a while, Xiao Qian said, Many thanks. Also, congratulations on resolving this cause and effect. Sima Lingxian stood up and carefully sheathed his sword. After a long time, he said, You have the luck of our Sky Dome realm on you. No matter what, I hope that you can clear your great tribulation of wind and fire and walk the Emperor's road. After saying that, Sima Lingxian turned around and mounted his tall horse. Then he pulled on the reins and galloped off, disappearing from the road. The many great bandits that rushed over happened to see Xiao Qian defeat Sima Lingxian in one move. This scene startled them. After the Outstanding Talent Summit meeting, Sima Lingxian had improved the most. He was now the strongest outstanding talent of the Black Sea. However, such an existence could not even block one saber strike from the returning Xiao Qian. In that case, These people who thought that they had improved and could fight with Xiao Chen again would be even worse off. If Sima Lingxian could not block one move, could they block even half a move? As the many Black Sea outstanding talents watched Xiao Chun enter the Flame Rock Fort, they were all speechless. Originally, they wanted to challenge Xiao Chun, but now they buried all of them in their hearts. Brother Xiao Chun, you and this Sima Lingxian are old acquaintances. It looks like there's a deep grudge between you and him. Batu asked out of curiosity. Xiao Chen nodded and gave a simple explanation of the grudges between him and Sima Lingxian in the Sky Dome realm. Batu suddenly understood. He said, "No wonder. I heard that after the previous Outstanding Talent Summit meeting, many people saw Sima Lingxian cry after he retreated without a fight." Cry? Xiao Chun was startled. How could a man cry so easily? Sima Lingxian actually cried. Suddenly, Xiao Chun soared into the air. From a distance, he could vaguely see Sima Lingxian riding a horse into the distance. Sima Lingxuan's lonely figure appeared somewhat desolate. Xiao Chun was entranced by this sight. He muttered, "So, you are a sentimental person as well." Xiao Chun blamed himself in his heart. If he had known about this earlier, he would not have let Sima Lingxian suffer such a miserable defeat. "Brother Xiao, are you all right? My grandfather is still waiting for you," Batu asked worriedly with a grave expression when he saw Xiao Chun in the air. Xiao Chun landed and said, "I'm fine. I just feel somewhat regretful. Many of the people from the Sky Dome realm who came to the Kunlun realm with me are unknown. I do not know if they are still alive or not. I can only see one or two of them. He is the first to give me his blessings." The first blessings from an old friend on the Emperor's Road turned out to be an old enemy. The Flame Rock Sovereign waited for a long time in the courtyard. Batu tactfully left, leaving only Xiao Chun and the Flame Rock Sovereign. "After not seeing you for half a year, you really became the second Bloodsword Sovereign. You condensed the heart of an emperor before advancing to martial emperor. However, this is not a good thing, either." The Flame Rock Sovereign glanced at Xiao Chun as he spoke, a hint of worry on his face. Xiao Chun sat down and poured a cup of tea for the Flame Rock Sovereign. Then, he continued, "I understand. The great tribulation of wind and fire is determined by the strength of the person undergoing the tribulation. The stronger the person undergoing the tribulation, the more dangerous the tribulation will be. However, I have to do this. I do not have much time. I need to quickly advance to consummation Blue-Robed Emperor. Otherwise, I will not even have the chance to undergo the tribulation. Advancing to martial emperor would be pointless." The Flame Rock Sovereign drained the tea in his cup. Then he sighed and said, "In my 2,000-odd years of life, I have seen many startling geniuses. However, compared to you, they all pale in comparison. Going back further, even during the most glorious ancient era of the Kunlun realm, there were not many who had a harder time advancing to emperor than you." Xiao Chun said humbly, "Senior, you are too polite. This time, I also have some questions that I would like to ask, Senior." The Flame Rock Sovereign nodded and said, "I guessed a little. You must have many questions about condensing the heart of an emperor. Speak. If I can answer them, I will tell you everything I know." Xiao Chun thought for a while before asking, "Might I ask if Senior knows what an abandoned land is?" The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "A regular emperor might not know about this. However, on my level, an abandoned land is no longer a secret. The seniors who disappeared in history mostly left this world. However, after the 100-Race War of the ancient era, no one has been able to leave this abandoned land." Xiao Chen asked out of curiosity, "Why?" The Flame Rock Sovereign hesitated for a while, swirling the tea in his cup. After thinking for a while, he said, "Given your current strength, there is no harm in telling you. In any case, you will have to face it sooner or later. After the 100-Race War, the Kunlun realm fell from the peak of the martial Tao. Although the Kunlun realm won a bitter victory in that demonic calamity, it still gave the Dark Church a chance, allowing them to seal off the exit to the abandoned land." This was the first time Xiao Chun heard such news. He felt shocked in his heart. He exclaimed in shock, "There is an exit to the abandoned land?" There used to be, but it is gone now. Where is it? You should have seen it before. The boundless peak that suppresses the rock of origin in the Kunlun mountain range is the original road to heaven. Xiao Chan thought for a while and remembered. Back then, when he went to the heavenly dew divine spring, he had indeed seen that boundless peak. At that time, it had left a deep impression on Xiao Chan. That peak had been majestic and majestic with no end in sight. There had also been Emperor Wu of the various races guarding there. So it is that peak. Unexpectedly, the Kunlun realm has such a path. The Flame Rock's sovereign smiled bitterly and said, "Don't overthink. Even if that path is not blocked, not many people would chase it away. There is a slim chance of survival. Furthermore, it is completely blocked now. The entire Kunlun realm is a huge cage. No matter what kind of genius you are, you will not be able to escape the butcher's knife of time in the end. Eventually, you will die." The Flame Rock Sovereign's words were filled with helplessness, very similar to the tone of the Haoyan Emperor, Ing Zongtian. Perhaps every person who advanced to Sovereign Martial Emperor would feel this kind of bitterness. Under the seemingly glorious exterior, there was a bitterness that others would find hard to understand. What is the background of this dark church? Why do they want to eradicate our Kunlun realm? Xiao Chan could not figure it out. The Flame Rock Sovereign made an expression of being unable to answer. Then, he waved his hand and said, "No one knows." The Dark Church already existed in the ancient era. At that time, nearly all the races that survived the Immortal epic died at their hands. They are like a nightmare. After that, the desolate ancient era and the ancient era all showed signs of them. Originally, the ancient era was the peak of the martial epic. That was the time when the martial epic was the most confident of eliminating the Dark Church. However, the various races fought each other, killing each other. This gave the Dark Church an opportunity. This is really ironic. Xiao Chan thought of something and asked, "When will the next demonic calamity arrive?" It's hard to say. Originally, the primes of the various races predicted that the Dark Church would take action within 10 years. However, there seems to be some variables delaying the demonic calamity. The next demonic calamity might be extraordinary. It will be fine if it does not come. Once the next demonic calamity arrives, it will definitely sweep through the entire Kunlun realm. Xiao Chen recalled Chu Chaoyan saying that the Qing Emperor's evil thoughts, Tung Xiao, had failed in his attempt to become the church master and was killed instead. Could this variable be? However, Xiao Chen could not tell the Flame Rock Sovereign about this. It was just his guess. Chapter 1246. The Flame Rock Sovereign did not seem willing to speak about this. He put down his teacup and smiled. "Let's not talk about this anymore. Since you already condensed the heart of an emperor, you should ask more about cultivation. With my strength, I should be able to give you some pointers." Xiao Chan felt embarrassed in his heart. He quickly said, "Senior is being too humble. This junior would be more than happy to receive pointers. I will definitely gain a lot." Upon hearing this, the Flame Rock Sovereign rejoiced in his heart. This Xiao Chan still understood the big picture. He did not become arrogant and ignorant because of his current accomplishments. In reality, with the Flame Rock Sovereign's current strength, even 100 Xiao Chan would not be a match for him. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "Come, let me see your primordial energy first." After saying that, the Flame Rock Sovereign placed a finger on Xiao Chen's forehead. Xiao Chen did not resist, allowing the other party's spiritual sense to enter his body. After a while, the Flame Rock Sovereign released his finger. In that instant, Xiao Chan felt a beam of light quickly circle his body. The other party clearly saw the law energy in his body, the vital qi of his physical body, and the mental energy in his sea of consciousness. What a fellow! Before advancing to Martial Emperor, you already have 10 strands of primordial energy. Furthermore, they are so dense. Half-step golden body, 10 strands of primordial energy, 7th layer saber soul, and a peak will of thunder. Right now, your overall combat prowess is no weaker than that of a first heaven martial emperor like Emperor Wu. Xiao Chun listened quietly. The Flame Rock Sovereign had not finished speaking yet. The latter part was what he was most interested in. The Flame Rock's sovereign withdrew his smile and continued. However, I can tell you clearly that it is practically impossible for you to clear your great tribulation of wind and fire with just these. Xiao Chun did not reveal any displeasure. He said seriously, Senior, please give me pointers. The Flame Rock's sovereign nodded to himself and said, Stay with me for a while. I will focus on giving you pointers for this 1 month. When Xiao Chun heard that, he rejoiced and said, Many thanks, Senior. Time was very precious for a sovereign martial emperor. Xiao Chun was not master and disciple, nor did he have a blood relationship with the Flame Rock sovereign. He was willing to stop his cultivation for a month to guide him. Needless to say, this opportunity was extremely precious. You're too polite. I'll use the power of a normal half-step Emperor Wu to exchange pointers with you. There is no need to use primordial energy. You can use any trump cards you have. First, I will show you how to bring out your full strength without wasting it. Hearing this, Xiao Chun was slightly taken aback and said with slight surprise, Senior, isn't that a bit too much? Right now, I am facing Emperor Wu of the first layer of heaven, and I still have the power to fight him. The Flame Rock sovereign smiled and said, In that case, I'll make a bet with you. I'll give you 10 chances to make a move. As long as you can make him take 1 step back, it will be your win. If you win, I will give you a big gift that you absolutely need. If you lose, give me all your peak grade 1,000-year flame. All right, it's a deal then. Xiao Chun did not even think about it before agreeing. If Xiao Chun wanted to defeat the Flame Rock sovereign, who only used the strength of a half-step Emperor Wu, he might be shocked, but he also had some doubts. However, Xiao Chun absolutely did not believe that he could knock the other party back. This was not blind arrogance, but confidence in his own strength. There was no need to undervalue himself. Xiao Chun held the lunar shadow saber and looked at the Flame Rock sovereign. Senior, are you ready? You can make your move at any time. All right. In that case, sorry for the offense. There was a total of 10 chances to make a move. Out of caution and confidence in his own strength, Xiao Chun did not use his primordial energy on the first move. He directly used his heavenly laws to execute the 1,000-year Great Establishment. A boundless tyrannical aura of kingship spread out from Xiao Chun's body in an overwhelming manner. Xiao Chun's figure flashed, and many cities appeared in the air. Millions of people appeared in the cities, kneeling and chanting, Long live. Xiao Chun's aura surged like a surging wave, instantly reaching its peak. When the cheers of Long live merged into one, Xiao Chun's tyrannical 1,000-year hegemony establishment hacked down ruthlessly. Of all the medial-grade, profound martial techniques that Xiao Chun grasped, the 1,000-year hegemony establishment was the most tyrannical. Xiao Chun was rather confident of using this move to force back the Flame Rock sovereign. Xiao Chun found it hard to believe that the half-step Emperor Wu would not take half a step back after receiving this move head-on. Even a Flame Rock sovereign would not be an exception. Retreat. The dynasty's tyrannical aura howled, displaying the luck of a dynasty for 1,000 years. The saber strike that Xiao Chun sent out perfectly carried this luck. Being able to use and withdraw a medial-grade, profound martial technique as one pleased was a sign of reaching the next level. Being able to use and withdraw as one pleased was a sign of reaching small perfection. The next level was becoming one with the will, comprehending the state contained in the profound martial technique and infusing it into the move. This was the sign of a great perfection martial technique. The final level was moving as one with the will. With a thought, before one made a move, all the mysterious phenomena of the martial technique would be completed in an instant. The instant one drew the weapon, all the might of the martial technique would burst forth. This was peak consummation. Every martial technique had these 4 levels, reaching the next level, small perfection, great perfection, and finally consummation. The higher the grade of a martial technique, the more difficult it was to cultivate. For a medial grade, profound martial technique, a regular minor heavenly emperor would find it very difficult to reach great perfection unless he cultivated it for more than 100 years. However, Xiao Qian's thousand-year hegemony establishment was clearly only a step away from great perfection. The Flame Rock Sovereign nodded to himself in praise. No wonder this Xiao Qian was so confident before him. He was indeed a genius, startlingly talented. However, Xiao Qian was still lacking something. It would be somewhat difficult to knock him back. The Flame Rock Sovereign watched as that powerful saber light chopped down. When it was less than 3 meters away, he moved. The Flame Rock Sovereign ferociously pushed his right hand forward, and his entire body turned scarlet like he had turned into a flame crystal. His entire body burned. However, when the Flame Rock Sovereign was about to clash with Xiao Qian's saber light, the flames on his entire body surged towards the Flame Rock Sovereign's index finger like a river. In that instant, the flame on the Flame Rock Sovereign's fingertip became incredibly dazzling, completely blocking out the sunlight. The entire world suddenly turned dark. Only that spot of light remained dazzling and piercing. When the Flame Rock Sovereign's fingertip touched the saber light, space tore. Someone took 10 steps back before he could stabilize himself. It was not the Flame Rock Sovereign, but Xiao Qian, who had chopped down with absolute confidence. Xiao Qian felt shocked. How did he do it? How did he gather all the energy in his body at one point, not wasting any at all? If Xiao Qian had done this himself, his finger would have exploded immediately. Not only would he not be able to injure his opponent, but he would also end up crippling himself. Emperor Wu's golden body? That's not right. Since Senior Flame Rock Sovereign said that he would only use the strength of a half-step Emperor Wu, he definitely would not go back on his word. After getting knocked back in one move, Xiao Qian did not panic. Instead, he calmly analyzed the situation. The Flame Rock Sovereign revealed a smile on his face. Not bad. Such a mental state is hard to come by. After thinking for a long time, Xiao Qian could not understand what was going on. The other party's technique was too scary. The thousand-year hegemony establishment was already the Flame Rock Sovereign's most tyrannical martial technique. If he could not even succeed with this, his other martial techniques would not be effective. If Xiao Qian wanted to use primordial energy, forget it. If he used primordial energy, even if he won by luck, he would feel that he had an unfair advantage. I admit defeat. Xiao Qian smiled bitterly. Then he took out all the thousand-year flame that Mo Chun left for him from the universe ring, feeling some heartache. Ha ha! The Flame Rock Sovereign laughed loudly and stretched out his hand, wanting to pull all the thousand-year flame into his spatial ring. Humph! Just at this moment, Ao Jiao, who was in the Immortal Spirit Ring, moved to the side at some point in time. Then, she snorted coldly with her lips curled up. Xiao Qian glanced at the Flame Rock Sovereign, clearly hinting at him to try and take it away if you dare. Then, she raised her head to the sky, not looking at the Flame Rock Sovereign. The Flame Rock Sovereign withdrew his cocky smile. Feeling somewhat guilty from Ao Jiao's glare, he smiled embarrassedly and said, "Little brother, you are getting serious, getting serious. I was just joking. Hee hee. I just knew that little Ba would not bully the weak. A senior is a senior." Ao Jiao's expression changed in the blink of an eye, turning into a radiant smile. Then, she walked over and hugged all the thousand-year flame on the ground. Then, she said, "That's right. What big gift. I already said it. Just take it out. Why are you still hiding it?" When Xiao Qian saw the situation, he quickly said, "Ao Jiao, I lost the bet." A smile bloomed on Ao Jiao's face. Then, she blinked and looked at the Flame Rock Sovereign. "Is that so?" The Flame Rock Sovereign looked at the thousand-year flame in Ao Jiao's embrace. Then, he gulped and said, "Yes, yes. No, no, little friend Xiao Qian, the bet was just a joke. Given my seniority, how can I bet with you? Here, this is a greeting gift." After saying that, the Flame Rock Sovereign tossed out a jade bottle with a pained expression. Xiao Qian caught it and opened the bottle cap. Instantly, a familiar aura surged out, startling him into losing his calm. That's right. This is a primordial pill, a total of 10. Every 100 years, I use primordial energy to refine one. Originally, I left it for that brat Ba Yin. Now, I'll get it to you. Use it well. I believe that you will be able to clear your great tribulation of wind and fire. It was really a primordial pill. How vast was the amount of primordial energy needed to refine primordial energy into a pill? Furthermore, the Flame Rock Sovereign also needed primordial energy to cultivate. One pill every 100 years was definitely worth it. This gift was too heavy. Xiao Chan felt somewhat ashamed to accept it. However, he was reluctant to give it up. There's no need to stand on ceremony. I believe that you're not a person who likes to stand on ceremony. Xiao Chan carefully put away the 10 primordial pills. These 10 primordial pills were simply too precious. No wonder the Flame Rock Sovereign said that he definitely needed them. Ao Jiao walked over happily and took the primordial pills from Xiao Chen's hands. Then, she winked at Xiao Chen and whispered, "I'll help you put them away first. Remember to squeeze out more from him." Back then, this Bayan dared to call me Big Sister. There's no need to stand on ceremony with him. When the Flame Rock Sovereign, who already had a pained expression, heard that, his lips twitched again for some reason. After Ao Jiao was far away, Xiao Chan said, "Senior, the brewer of this 1,000-year flame is on my heavenly star island. When I return to my conferred land, I'll ask her to brew some more peak grade 1,000-year flame and send them over." Upon hearing this, the Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, Good. You must remember that I love fine wine the most, especially strong wine. I've drunk this 1,000-year flame once, and I can't forget it anymore." Xiao Chen nodded and said, "Definitely." The Flame Rock Sovereign withdrew his smile and turned serious. He said, "In this 1 month of guidance, I will not teach you any martial techniques. I will only teach you 3 things. The first is what you saw earlier. It allows you to gather all your energy at one point. That is the sharp spirit finger. Although it is called a finger, once you truly grasp it, you will be able to use it as you please. You can use every part of your body, not just your fingertip." Chapter 1247. The second is about Emperor Wu's cultivation, how to maximize the use of your primordial energy so that you do not waste natural resources. The third is the most closely related to you, some techniques for undergoing tribulations. Xiao Chen's expression turned solemn. These 3 techniques could all become divine techniques. All of them were extraordinary. As long as Xiao Chen learned any one of them, he would gain a lot. The Flame Rock Sovereign's kindness was simply too great. The Flame Rock Sovereign continued, "However, my guidance will not be easy. You will have to endure great pain for every technique. This is especially so for the 3rd technique. You might even face the danger of dying." Xiao Chen did not show any fear. With a resolute gaze, he said, "Senior, don't worry. Along the way, this junior already understood this principle. The greater the value, the greater the risk and price. There is no such thing as reaping without sowing. I'll teach you the sharp spirit finger first. Little friend Xiao Chen, how do you think I managed to do that earlier finger?" The Flame Rock Sovereign asked as he looked at Xiao Chen. It seemed like he was testing Xiao Chen's comprehension ability. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. After thinking for a while, he said, "On the surface, it looks like you continuously compress all your energy and gather it at one point. Finally, you use that point to break through, bringing out offensive power that far surpasses your cultivation. Earlier, the Flame Rock Sovereign's finger had been executed with the cultivation of a half-step Emperor Wu. However, the destructive power it brought was even stronger than the medial-grade profound martial technique that Xiao Chen executed. However, if it were that simple, there would not be anything special about this technique. Anyone would be able to learn it with one glance. Why would the Flame Rock Sovereign teach it to Xiao Chen like a treasure?" The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled faintly and nodded. "Continue." Xiao Chen thought for a while more before saying, "The true situation is definitely not that simple. The law, energy flows in the body like water. The human body is like a water sack. Once there is too much water in a certain area, the water sack will deform. If it is 1 or 2 times, it is still bearable. However, if it exceeds 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times, something will happen to the water sack, causing it to explode." The Flame Rock Sovereign smile widened. "This is my first time hearing such an analogy. Interesting. Continue." How can one ensure that the water sac does not explode? The Flame Rock Sovereign did not say whether Xiao Chen's guess was right or wrong. He gestured for Xiao Chen to continue thinking. Xiao Chen felt encouraged and continued. There are two ways to prevent the water sac from breaking. The first is to increase the toughness of the water sac, which is the strength of the physical body. The other is to increase the water's density, which is to strengthen the physical body. The second is to increase the water's density, which is to increase the water's density. Xiao Chen's train of thought grew clearer. He continued, if I were to guess, Senior should have used the second method. This is because Senior only used the strength of a half-step martial emperor and did not use the golden emperor body. The Flame Rock Sovereign guffawed, confusing Xiao Chen. Am I right or wrong? Senior, am I right or wrong? Xiao Chen asked carefully. Now, he really did not know what the other party was thinking. After the Flame Rock Sovereign had laughed enough, he replied, sorry, you are completely wrong. However, I feel that your train of thought is a direction. Yes, I can consider it. Xiao Chen felt speechless. The Flame Rock Sovereign was digging a hole for him to pick. At first, when he saw the Flame Rock Sovereign's expression, he thought that he had guessed correctly. Unexpectedly, the Flame Rock Sovereign said such a thing. Senior, there's no need to trick me like that, right? Xiao Chen said, feeling depressed. The Flame Rock Sovereign said, I am not tricking you. No matter how good the technique I comprehended is, it is still mine. It cannot compare to your own comprehension. Your direction is indeed correct. However, the physical body is the physical body, after all. It is different from the water sac. My technique can be summarized in one word, fast. Fast? What does that mean? It means extreme speed. With such a vast amount of energy gathered, the physical body indeed cannot endure it. However, if it is only 1,000th of a second or 100th of a second, do you think the physical body can endure it? Inspiration flashed in Xiao Chen's mind, and he immediately felt enlightened. Indeed, if it was only 1,000th of a second or 100th of a second, given the toughness of the physical body, it could endure it. However, doing so was challenging the limits. If he was too slow, he might end up crippling his physical body. The gains would not make up for the losses. It was like dancing on a tightrope. If Xiao Chen got careless and fell, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. I'll demonstrate it a few times for you. Watch carefully. The Flame Rock Sovereign's expression turned serious. He casually pointed, and the sky turned dark. Nothing could be seen. Aside from the sun-like light on the Flame Rock Sovereign's fingertip, even the Flame Rock Sovereign's face and body were covered by this light, merging into the night. The light flashed, and a fiery sun-like light appeared on the Flame Rock Sovereign's shoulder. The light flickered, and sun-like flames continuously appeared on the Flame Rock Sovereign's body. Xiao Chen opened his eyes wide and looked carefully. With the Flame Rock Sovereign's patient demonstration, he finally discovered some of the secrets. A faint red whirlpool spun continuously in the Flame Rock Sovereign's chest. No matter where the law energy flowed to, this red whirlpool did not disappear even once. It looked like the red whirlpool never stopped. However, in reality, the red whirlpool kept flickering, moving incredibly quickly. It was even faster than the resplendent, sun-like flames. However, it was simply too fast. The naked eye could no longer capture it, creating the illusion that it never stopped. The light stopped flickering, and the Flame Rock Sovereign asked, "How is it? Did you figure anything out?" Xiao Chen nodded and said, "The core of Senior's sharp spirit finger should be the red whirlpool in the chest. Without being able to condense the red whirlpool, even if others know the principles of this sharp spirit finger, they would not dare to try it." That's right. This sharp spirit finger came from before I advanced to Martial Emperor. By coincidence, I had a flash of inspiration while I was in the state of being one with heaven, and I comprehended it. Xiao Chen continued, "There is no such thing as a flash of inspiration for no reason in the world. Without a lot of accumulation, it would not appear out of nowhere." When the Flame Rock Sovereign heard this, he showed a stunned expression. He had not expected Xiao Chen to understand it so thoroughly. This was something that he had only understood after living for more than 1,000 years. Right now, there are two paths for you to choose. One is for me to teach you the sharp spirit finger according to my own method. The other is for you to follow your original path and perfect it. If you need anything, I will be there at your beck and call. Xiao Qian did not hesitate for long before making his decision. I choose the second path. Xiao Qian's speed flabbergasted the flame rock sovereign. Why? You have to think this through. I only said it casually. With so little time, it is too difficult to comprehend it on your own. I've thought it through. Senior is right. In the end, what I comprehend on my own is more suitable for me. Choosing the first path might seem simple and allow me to grasp it quickly. However, Senior is a fire-attributed cultivator, and I'm a lightning-attributed cultivator. Although I can grasp it quickly, I will need to spend a lot of time to perfect it in the future. Xiao Qian continued his analysis. If I choose the second path, it might seem like I will take a long time to grasp it. However, once I do, it will be perfectly compatible with my body, and the efficiency will be even higher. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "Are you that confident that you can comprehend it on your own?" Xiao Qian said calmly, "Senior already explained it to me so clearly and personally demonstrated it. If I really cannot comprehend it, then it can only be said that this sharp spirit finger is not suitable for me." The Flame Rock Sovereign said, "Good. In that case, I'll give you 10 days. Whether you succeed or not, I will skip this step and directly teach you the second technique, how to use primordial energy." Xiao Qian nodded. He was not in a rush to think about it. Instead, he had the Flame Rock Sovereign explain in detail how he comprehended the sharp spirit finger back then. 2 days passed just like that. Even the Flame Rock Sovereign felt somewhat tired from Xiao Qian. However, Xiao Qian still persisted, carefully asking for guidance. To Xiao Qian's understanding, having such a sovereign martial emperor by his side was more useful than any secret technique. On the third day, Xiao Qian stopped asking the Flame Rock Sovereign questions. A pile of books as tall as a person piled up beside him. These were all cultivation techniques and martial techniques that the Flame Rock Sovereign had casually mentioned. The Flame Rock Sovereign was flabbergasted when he saw this. Even he could not remember them all. However, Xiao Qian did not miss anything, remembering everything. On the fourth day, another pile of books appeared beside Xiao Qian. These were all lightning-attributed cultivation techniques and martial techniques that Xiao Qian had borrowed from the Flame Rock Sovereign. The Flame Rock Sovereign and Ao Jiao drank the thousand-year flame. Occasionally, they glanced at Xiao Qian, who was seriously reading in the dueling ground. The Flame Rock Sovereign frowned and said, "Almost half the time has passed, and he is still reading. He is too calm." Now, the Flame Rock Sovereign even suspected that he had misjudged Xiao Qian. Had he run into an armchair scholar? Ao Jiao smiled and scolded, "Just you wait. Xiao Qian never does something he is not confident of. Since he dared to choose the second path with you, he definitely has his own confidence. You have no idea how strong his comprehension ability is." The Flame Rock Sovereign said, "I also hope that he can comprehend it himself. That would be better than anything else. However, there are only 6 days left, and he is still so calm. I'm starting to worry." "Hey, Xiao Qian, move," Ao Jiao said as she put down her wine cup. The Flame Rock Sovereign's eyes lit up. He quickly looked over and could not help feeling disappointed. After putting down his book, Xiao Qian still did not meditate or cultivate. Instead, he started trying. In the end, he did not succeed even once. Instead, the lightning bolts covered his body in wounds, severely injuring his internal organs several times. The Flame Rock Sovereign wanted to stop Xiao Qian, but Ao Jiao stopped him. "Don't go. Given his stubbornness, he will not listen to your advice at this time." This repeated over and over again. Lightning flashed and thunder roared in this dueling ground, day or night. Such a mysterious phenomenon startled all the cultivators and servants in the entire Flame Rock Castle. When everyone saw Xiao Qian torturing himself in the dueling ground, they all revealed incredulous expressions. "What is he doing? I heard that he is comprehending the Flame Rock Sovereign's consummate technique, the sharp spirit finger. What a joke, right? He wants to comprehend the sharp spirit finger by torturing himself like that. Did a donkey kick him in the head? As the thunder roared, the sky was always covered in dark clouds, regardless of whether it was day or night, and the clouds rolled endlessly. 3 days passed. This startled not only the people of the Flame Rock Castle, but all the cultivators in Dark City as well. Chapter 1248. The phenomenon lasted for too long. Hundreds and thousands of flashes of lightning could be seen clearly even from 100 miles away. When the many people who did not know what was going on saw this mysterious phenomenon, they all thought that the Flame Rock Castle was refining some powerful divine weapon or peak Emperor-grade secret treasure. In the end, even the other great bandits in Dark City were startled. Flame Rock Sovereign, what are you doing hiding in the Flame Rock Castle? Why did you not inform us about refining a powerful divine weapon? The top great bandit of the Black Sea, the Bloodshark Sovereign, said coldly when he appeared outside the castle. Could it be that you think your ranking is too low and want to change places? The Flame Rock Sovereign looked at the other 12 great bandits standing outside the castle. All of them had hostile gazes, and he broke out in a cold sweat. The Flame Rock Sovereign could not explain himself, so he had no choice but to remove the formation around the Flame Rock Castle and let these great bandits in. The Flame Rock Sovereign cursed, "Stinking brat, you really know how to cause trouble for me. Since when did my Flame Rock Castle open to other great bandits? To think that they came in groups now." When the many cultivators outside the castle saw that the great bandits were let in, they took advantage of the opening of the formation to rush in. The Flame Rock Sovereign cursed. He simply cannot be bothered with this. After all, there were no shameful secrets. Letting these people in would save them from spreading rumors in the future. When everyone figured out the truth and saw Shao Chun covered in wounds and disheveled hair amid the thunder and lightning, his face unrecognizable, everyone was stunned. Who is this? Is he crazy? If he can comprehend the sharp spirit finger like this, then the consummate technique of the great bandits is too worthless. I bet that he will not be able to comprehend the sharp spirit finger. He might even end up playing himself to death. Who is betting with you? Isn't it obvious? The Flame Rock Sovereign is really too discerning. He might as well teach it himself, making everyone in the city suspicious. When the Flame Rock Sovereign heard this, he felt so frustrated that he wanted to vomit blood. He looked at Shao Chun, who pretended not to hear anything, as if he did not see everyone around him. The Flame Rock Sovereign thought to himself, "Little friend, oh, little friend, you have to do me proud. Now that the 12 great bandits have come out, if you really cannot comprehend it, I will become a big joke. Old friends, now that you understand the truth of the matter, you can leave." The Flame Rock Sovereign said indifferently as he withdrew his gaze from Shao Chun and looked at the others. The top great pirate of the Black Sea, the Bloodshark Sovereign, smiled and said, "Flame Rock Sovereign, don't be in such a rush to chase us away. This is our first time entering this Flame Rock Castle. The decorations are pretty good." The other bandits had smiles on their faces, showing no signs of leaving. Shao Chun thought to himself, "I knew that a bunch of old ghosts wouldn't leave so easily." Zhong Buxiong looked at Shao Chun, who was comprehending alone amid the lightning. Then he asked, "How long has the Flame Rock Sovereign been doing this?" 3 days. It's like this day and night. Naturally. Otherwise, how could I have lured you bunch of old fogies over? The Flame Rock Sovereign retorted angrily. Upon hearing this, the Blood Shark Monarch, Zhong Buxiong, and the other pirates of the Black Sea were astonished. At this moment, Shao Chen's hair was disheveled, and wounds covered his body. The lightning blasted his body until it was mangled. The pain he was in went without saying. However, Shao Chun persisted for 3 days without any intention of stopping. Isn't this little fellow a little too stubborn? He wants to rely on your pointers to torture himself and comprehend the sharp spirit finger. He is too naive. The 9th-ranked old man of the 13 great bandits of the Black Sea said while shaking his head. These great bandits had all seen the might of the Flame Rock Sovereign's sharp spirit finger. They also knew how horrifying the Flame Rock Sovereign's sharp spirit finger was when it was at its full power. Most of them did not think that Xiao Chun could comprehend the sharp spirit finger in such a short time. However, when they saw Xiao Chen's stubbornness, they were still shocked. If they were as young as Xiao Chun, they would not be so stubborn. Zhong Buoxiong said, even if this person cannot comprehend the sharp spirit finger, he will definitely be a powerful and ambitious person. He lives up to his reputation as the descendant of the Qing emperor. The blood shark sovereign smiled and said, strange. I heard that your adopted son seems to have a great grudge with him. Why do you still give this person such a high evaluation? This is not like you. Zhong Buoxiong smiled and said, it is already in the past. However, I heard that this person also beat up your grandson very miserably at the Outstanding Talent Summit meeting. It is not just you. It seems like all the great bandits present suffered greatly at this person's hands. Speaking of which, there was actually no meaning to it. The 13 great bandits of the Black Sea were all sovereign martial emperors. When they worked together to rule the vast Black Sea, which one of them was not a proud and arrogant person, someone taught their juniors a lesson. Naturally, they would hold a grudge. Now that they learned the truth, they did not intend to leave. All the great bandits had the same thought. They just wanted to take a look. Just what kind of existence was this young man who suppressed the geniuses of the Black Sea to the point where they couldn't even raise their heads? The blood shark sovereign smiled abashedly and did not dwell on this topic. Flame rock sovereign, how much time did you give him? 10 days. Now, there are only 3 days left. Everyone present sucked in a breath of cold air. Wanting to comprehend the sharp spirit finger in 10 days? This was a little too crazy. The blood shark sovereign recovered his wits and said, good, we will wait here for 3 days and see if he can comprehend the sharp spirit finger. The 13 great bandits of the Black Sea arrived at the same time, wanting to watch a junior comprehend. Once this news spread, it immediately caused a commotion in the Flame Rock Castle. Who were the 13 great bandits? They were sovereign martial emperors, the rulers of the Black Sea. Which one of them was not a fierce and ambitious person? Even in the entire Kunlun realm, when all of them worked together, they could shake up the world with a stomp of their feet. Today, all of them gathered together for a junior, waiting for him for 3 days. Damn, this is really a big show. If he really succeeds, his name will go down in the annals of the entire oceanic world. Don't worry, he absolutely won't succeed. Look at him now. He looks neither human nor ghost. How can he comprehend it? That's true. After all, the sharp spirit finger is a consummate technique of a sovereign martial emperor that is not passed down to others. How can he comprehend it so easily? That's impossible. All the cultivators in the Flame Rock Castle sank into some kind of anxiety. More accurately, it was fear. Xiao Chen's sudden appearance already placed enormous pressure on them. Sweeping through all the outstanding talents at the Outstanding Talent Summit meeting cast a shadow in their hearts. If they were to comprehend the telepathic finger in just a short 10 days, the pressure would make them completely unable to breathe. Everyone held their breaths, waiting for the final moment. Before the result came out, they would forever feel anxious. If Xiao Chun failed in his comprehension, these people would go wild with joy. The joy of Schadenfreude would instantly fill their hearts. However, these people would not have imagined that even if Xiao Chun failed in his comprehension, he would still firmly suppress them. As long as Xiao Chun was around, he would forever be above them. Being in the same generation as Little Red Sin was a kind of tragedy. The various things happening in the outside world did not affect Xiao Chun, who was comprehending. He was completely immersed in comprehending. Although he sensed so many people coming to the Flame Rock Castle, he did not divert his attention at all. The others only saw him covered in wounds from the lightning bolts, a tragic sight to behold. However, they did not discover that after every experiment, Xiao Chen's frown would relax slightly. After hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of experiments, the doubts in Xiao Chen's heart slowly cleared up. The pain he endured with every experiment went without saying. However, this was a rare opportunity. The Flame Rock Sovereign personally explained, demonstrated, and even told Xiao Chun every detail of the process of comprehending. This was a great opportunity. Xiao Chun absolutely could not give up. He feared that if he did not persevere this time, he would lose the inspiration he obtained from the Flame Rock Sovereign once time passed. This was how strange inspiration was. If one did not grab hold of it, one might not be able to do so for the rest of one's life. Hence, even if the pain was 100 or 1,000 times greater, Xiao Chun absolutely could not give up. He had to succeed in comprehending. If someone's eyes could see through the body, they would find out. These 9 clumps of lightning formed a circle in Xiao Chen's chest, spinning continuously. The endlessly flickering electric light in the sky and the roaring thunder were all triggered by these 9 clumps of lightning. After thousands of attempts, Xiao Chun proved that the path he thought of was the most suitable for him. These 9 clumps of lightning were the result of Xiao Chun condensing and suppressing all the energy in his body. With a thought, the 9 clumps of lightning became like horses galloping in the sky, gathering at Xiao Chen's fingertip. However, some of them exploded along the way. A bloody hole immediately appeared in Xiao Chen's chest. Electricity flickered in the wound, inflicting intense pain. Some of them gathered together, but before they reached the fingertip, they could not merge perfectly. They exploded at the same time, nearly losing half of Xiao Chen's arm amid loud explosions. Some of them managed to reach the fingertip after much difficulty. However, they did not manage to unleash them at the last step, directly exploding. Xiao Chun consumed a holy medicinal pill for treating injuries from the Thunder King's inheritance. Combined with the horrifying recovery ability of his half-step golden body, his wounds healed at a visible pace. However, just as the old wounds healed, new ones appeared. This was because Xiao Chun started what seemed like a masochistic attempt. As Xiao Chun comprehended, he forgot about the flow of time. He did not know how much time had passed. Then, he revealed an expression of understanding. It is already sufficiently condensed. However, compared to the Flame Rock Sovereign, my energy is more mixed. If I want to merge them perfectly, I have to resolve the balance between vital chi, law energy, and primordial energy. The Flame Rock Sovereign was right. Xiao Chen's direction was indeed correct. After these unimaginable attempts, only one problem remained for Xiao Chen's sharp spirit finger: how to maintain the balance between his physical body, vital chi, primordial energy, and heavenly laws. It's time to meditate, Xiao Chun muttered to himself. He was more or less done with his experiments. The next step was to meditate and properly digest the comprehensions he gained from the more than 10,000 tests. In the end, he solved the last problem. After stopping that inhumane experiment, Xiao Chen's injuries recovered rapidly. Chapter 1249. As Xiao Chun entered meditation, all the roaring thunder and rumbling lightning disappeared. Xiao Chun sat cross-legged in midair, showing a solemn expression. Xiao Chen's long hair flowed freely behind him, moving with the wind and revealing his delicate and handsome face. The white-robed bladesman still looked as elegant as before. He is starting to meditate. He is really persistent. He actually lasted 5 days in that almost masochistic state. There seems to be only 1 day left of his appointment with the Flame Rock Sovereign. Trying to meditate and meditate in 1 day? That is too difficult. When Xiao Chun entered a meditative state, all the rumbling thunder and mysterious phenomena disappeared. When the sunlight shone down, it seemed to shine on the white-robed bladesman hovering in midair, adding some solemnity to Xiao Chen's elegant and extraordinary air. Like the other cultivators, the 13 great bandits of the Black Sea all looked at Xiao Chun, who had already recovered from his injuries. At this moment, Xiao Chun had already recovered from his injuries. After consuming the sage pill from the Thunder King's inheritance, Xiao Chen's recovery ability was ridiculously strong. There were no wounds or bloodstains on the surface. Although the clear wind robes were of low rank, they had an automatic cleaning function. Furthermore, they were a gift from Lu Ruyue. After Xiao Chun came to the Kunlun realm, he had seen many stronger treasured armors. However, he did not choose to change them. What a strong recovery ability of the physical body is about the same as the first Heaven Emperor Wu's golden body. Without such a strong physical body, This little fellow would not dare to act so recklessly. However, even if an ordinary person had such a strong physical body, they probably would not have the willpower to persist. Actually, if one looks carefully, this little fellow is not blindly torturing himself. Every time he tries, he should be able to gain something. However, that old fellow, the Flame Rock Sovereign, gave him too little time. He only has 1 day left to meditate. That is probably not enough. The eyes of the great bandits of the Black Sea were very bright. They saw things much more clearly than the other cultivators. When they discussed, they did not show any emotions, remaining objective and truthful. When the Flame Rock Sovereign heard this, he laughed happily. If he cannot comprehend it in 10 days, I will naturally teach him my method. You don't have to blame me. Since you think highly of my little friend, then teach him your ultimate skills. I guarantee that he will also be able to comprehend the Tao. The other great bandits of the Black Sea immediately shut up. What kind of joke was this? The consummate skills of a sovereign martial emperor were all secrets that were not passed down. The Flame Rock Sovereign rarely even passed it down to his disciples, only to those related to him by blood. There was no one as generous as the Flame Rock Sovereign. Flame Rock Sovereign, why are you doing this? What is your relationship with this little fellow? The other great bandits of the Black Sea asked, feeling confused. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled faintly and said, I do not have any relationship with him. However, when I was young, I received many favors from his item spirit. Even if I tell you, you won't understand. Just keep watching. If my little friend really succeeds in breaking through, I want to see where you old fellows will hide your faces. Huh. Flame Rock Sovereign, there is no need to insist. We will not compete with you for now. We will know once we keep watching. The Blood Shark Sovereign smiled faintly and continued watching with the other great bandits of the Black Sea. Time passed quietly, without the rumbling of thunder and the incessant flickering of electricity. All the cultivators present felt somewhat unused to it. After Xiao Chun entered meditation, there were many discussions. However, after 1 hour, 2 hours, the place slowly turned silent. The reason was very simple. If the same topic continued to be discussed, anyone would find it annoying. Right now, everyone only focused their gazes on Xiao Chun, who was sitting cross-legged in the air. Time passed quietly. The sun set in the west, and night fell soon. Boom! Just at this moment, when no one was prepared, Xiao Chen's body suddenly radiated a bright electric light. The sky, which was about to turn dark, instantly turned bright with this intense light, looking like the most dazzling sunlight at noon. Xiao Chun, who was sitting cross-legged in the air, suddenly opened his eyes, and the purple electric light on his body became even more intense. It was so dazzling that no one dared to look at it directly. Xiao Chun slowly stood up in the air. A vast aura spread out together with his tyranny of kingship. What a strong aura of kingship! The Blood Shark Sovereign could not help exclaiming. Naturally, to these sovereign martial emperors, Xiao Chen's aura was not worth mentioning. However, the tyranny of kingship in Xiao Chen's aura could not be ignored. If one looked deeper, they would be even more shocked to discover an even deeper aura hidden behind this tyranny of kingship. That was the heavenly Tao that ruled over the Kunlun realm. Right now, Xiao Chen's luck was overwhelming. That mysterious luck was so strong that one could see it with the naked eye. The many sovereign martial emperors all revealed envious expressions. Overwhelming luck. This was something that every person of the martial Tao could only hope for, but not obtain. Did he succeed? When the sovereign martial emperors saw the overwhelming luck behind Xiao Chun, they were momentarily distracted. As for the other ordinary cultivators, they could not see anything. They could only sense a Xiao Chen's strong and horrifying aura. What they were more concerned about was whether Xiao Chen succeeded or not. Had he comprehended the Flame Rock Sovereign's consummate technique, the sharp spirit finger? Soon, Xiao Chun used the most direct action to give them the answer. Before everyone's eyes, Xiao Chun suddenly pointed to the sky as he stood in midair. With this finger, the intense electric light flickering on his body vanished, leaving nothing behind. His plain and unadorned body was now untainted by even a speck of dust. Rumble! In the next moment, intense rumbling resounded in the sky. The space of the entire flame rock castle started to tremble endlessly. Accompanying the rumbling was a flash of the Emperor's might on Shao Chen's body. The instant he pointed to the sky, a bona fide Emperor's might appeared. By the time Shao Chen withdrew his finger, a huge hole had appeared in the sky. Black cracks spread out like a spiderweb around the hole. The many cultivators stared at this scene in a daze. Tearing space was something that only Emperor Wu could do. Shao Chen really comprehended the sharp spirit finger. Otherwise, how could the attack of a consummation blue-robed emperor be comparable to Emperor Wu's? As Shao Chen watched the hole in the sky slowly close, he revealed a satisfied smile on his face, which had remained silent for 3 days. Although this strike could not compare to the peak strike of the cycle banner, he relied on his own strength and did not rely on any external items. Furthermore, compared to the side effects and danger of the peak strike of the cycle banner, this sharp spirit finger was much more practical. Many thanks for Senior Flame Rock Sovereign's pointers. This junior has successfully comprehended the sharp spirit finger that belongs to me. In the air, Shao Chen turned around and bowed deeply to the Flame Rock Sovereign. A wide smile filled the Flame Rock Sovereign's face, grinning from ear to ear among the great bandits of the Black Sea. You were too polite. I only pointed out a path for you. You still relied on yourself to comprehend the sharp spirit finger in 10 days. The shock on the faces of the other great bandits of the Black Sea was no less than that of the ordinary cultivators. The Blood Shark Sovereign looked around and entered deep thought. After cultivating in seclusion for half a day, he comprehended the sharp spirit finger. It looks like the 5 days of painful attempts, day and night, have already allowed him to comprehend it. The Blood Shark Sovereign turned his head and exchanged glances with the other great bandits. Then they all nodded slightly. After comprehending the sharp spirit finger in 10 days, it was no wonder he could sweep through all the outstanding talents of the Kunlun continent. Then he displayed his splendor in the heavenly starry ocean's Four Seas hero gathering. It was not unjust for their descendants to lose to this youth. He truly lived up to his reputation as the descendant of the Qing Emperor. When Shao Chen saw the people beside the Flame Rock Sovereign, he felt somewhat strange as well. Unexpectedly, his comprehension of the sharp spirit finger would cause so many horrifying experts to appear in the Black Sea. However, this was not the time to care about this. Shao Chen wanted to test his sharp spirit finger against the Flame Rock Sovereign's true sharp spirit finger, to see which was stronger. Shao Chen looked at the Flame Rock Sovereign and said respectfully, 10 days ago, Senior gently pointed at me and forced me to admit defeat. Would you give this junior another chance to redo this bet? That's right. The moment Shao Chen said that, it immediately kicked up a huge wave. This Shao Chen was very bold. He just comprehended the sharp spirit finger, and he immediately challenged the Flame Rock Sovereign. The Flame Rock Sovereign laughed loudly and happily accepted the challenge. I was just waiting for you to say that. I also want to see whether your sharp spirit finger is overdone or not. You are not worthy of the Flame Rock Sovereign's reputation. The Flame Rock Sovereign laughed loudly and took up a stance in the air, facing Shao Chen from a distance. Based on the Flame Rock Sovereign's appearance, he was really prepared to accept Shao Chen's challenge. The other great bandits of the Black Sea all revealed interested expressions. It was rare for someone like Shao Chen to dare to challenge a senior after comprehending his consummate technique. He was indeed very courageous. The rules are the same as 10 days ago. You only have the cultivation of a consummation blue-robed emperor, and I will only use the strength of a half-step Emperor Wu, the Flame Rock Sovereign said with a smile. The Flame Rock Sovereign did not care about his reputation after winning or losing. In his heart, he hoped that Shao Chen could defeat him more. Of course, this did not mean that the Flame Rock Sovereign would go easy on Shao Chen. Instead, he would be even stricter. Shao Chen nodded and said, "Good. This time, I absolutely will not lose." "Ha! In that case, you will have to show your true ability." That was what you said the previous time. The Flame Rock Sovereign laughed softly. His mental state had already reached a very high level. Whoosh! The two did not say anything more. Before the eyes of all the cultivators in the city, they attacked at the same time in the instant the electric light flashed. The extraordinary thing about the sharp spirit finger was its speed. If anyone dilly-dallied, hoping to find the other party's weakness, they would basically lose if they were too slow. As such, the speed at which the two of them attacked was so fast that the spectating cultivators were unable to react in time. Suddenly, two clumps of bright light appeared in the dark sky, illuminating this place like the hottest noon. Their auras seemed to be extremely similar. The only differences were in some details and colors. Chapter 1250. The light on Xiao Qin's fingertip flickered with sparks of pure purple light. As for the light on the Flame Rock Sovereign's fingertip, it was a dazzling and eye-catching fiery red, like the sun was burning on the fingertip. Bang! The two sharp spirit fingers did not give anyone much time to think. From a moment the light appeared to the moment they clashed, it happened almost at the same time. The intense clash was like two planets crashing into each other. Long cracks appeared in space, spreading throughout the sky above the Flame Rock Castle. When the shock wave spread out, several weaker cultivators were knocked over, vomiting blood endlessly. If not for the formation laid on the Flame Rock Castle, all the buildings would have been destroyed in the instant they clashed, reduced to rubble. Sharp Spirit Finger versus Sharp Spirit Finger. The two clumps of resplendent light left even faster than they came. When the light vanished, the victor was decided in the time it took for a spark to fly. Blood leaked out of a corner of Xiao Qin's lips as he retreated in the air. With every step he took, a thunderous roar resounded in the sky. Xiao Qin took 10 steps back before he stabilized his body. By the time he stabilized himself, the sky behind him was already filled with lightning and thunder, and dark clouds covered the sky. On the other hand, the Flame Rock Sovereign, who used only the strength of a half-step Emperor Wu, was in an even more miserable state than Xiao Qin. The instant the light vanished, the Flame Rock Sovereign went flying. Of course, the Flame Rock Sovereign had the golden body of Emperor Wu, which gave him great strength. Although he was knocked back, he was not injured. According to the rules of the bet, as long as Xiao Qin knocked back the Flame Rock Sovereign, he would win. Now, Xiao Qin had indeed exceeded his expectations, directly knocking back the Flame Rock Sovereign, gaining a suppressive advantage. Naturally, it was clear with one glance who won. The surroundings fell silent. Everyone was so shocked that they could not speak. Not only did Xiao Qin use 10 days to comprehend the sharp spirit finger, but he even used it to defeat the Flame Rock Sovereign. This was the principle of teaching a disciple and starving the master to death. Even the Flame Rock Sovereign himself could not react to this result. He could not understand how Xiao Qin won so thoroughly. However, a moment later, he came to a sudden realization. He stood in the air and laughed heartily. His laughter was filled with relief. Your sharp spirit finger is indeed not weak at all. I really did not expect it. I really did not expect you to use your primordial energy. Originally, the Flame Rock Sovereign had expected that the primordial energy would be too strong. If Xiao Qin used the sharp spirit finger and used primordial energy, he would definitely injure himself. She thought that Xiao Qin would take things one step at a time, first driving all the law energy and familiarizing himself with it before using the primordial energy. Who would have thought that Xiao Qin would reach the heavens in a single step, mobilizing all the power in his body? The power that Xiao Qin could bring out was already no weaker than Emperor Wu's, who was a first heaven martial emperor. Furthermore, the Flame Rock Sovereign was still using the half-step Emperor Wu's power. Naturally, he would lose so thoroughly. It was not that the Flame Rock Sovereign's sharp spirit finger was weaker than Xiao Qin's. Instead, the power that the Flame Rock Sovereign could bring out was weaker than Xiao Qin's. However, as a senior, the Flame Rock Sovereign did not feel embarrassed at all. Instead, he felt extremely gratified. Blood Shark Sovereign, didn't you say that my little friend would not be able to comprehend the sharp spirit finger in 10 days? Now, not only did he comprehend it, but it is even the complete version of the sharp spirit finger. What do you think? The Flame Rock Sovereign turned to the 12 great bandits of the Black Sea and smiled cockily. You old fogies, you cheered as well. What do you think now? All of you are slapping yourselves, right? The 12 great bandits of the Black Sea gritted their teeth at the cocky Flame Rock Sovereign. However, they could not rebut and could only let the Flame Rock Sovereign mock them. However, these people were all sovereign martial emperors. Their mental states were much stronger than that of regular cultivators. Naturally, their breadth of mind was incomparable. After a while, the Blood Shark Sovereign sighed and said, "The descendants of the Qing Emperor are indeed very graceful. This old man is truly convinced this time." After saying that, the Blood Shark Sovereign flew forward and handed an engraved card to Xiao Chun. He said, "Little friend, if you have time, you can come to my Blood Fiend Mountain Manor. At that time, this old man will definitely receive you personally." When the top great bandit of the Black Sea handed over an invitation, Xiao Chun felt somewhat overwhelmed by the favor. In this world where the strong reigned supreme, a consummation blue-robed emperor like him could get a sovereign martial emperor to send him an invitation so politely. This was simply unimaginable. After receiving the engraved card, Xiao Chun said, "Many thanks for Senior's favor. If I have time, I will definitely pay you a visit." With the Blood Shark Sovereign taking the lead, the other great bandits of the Black Sea reacted at the same time. They all put on smiling faces and politely handed over an engraved card to Xiao Chun, inviting him to their mountain manor's courtyards when he had time. This is unreasonable. The 13 great bandits of the Black Sea actually sent an invitation to Xiao Chun at the same time. Don't be jealous. If you can comprehend the Sharp Spirit Finger in 10 days and defeat the Flame Rock Sovereign Sharp Spirit Finger, you will probably receive the same treatment. It is too hard not to be jealous. With these 13 engraved cards, Xiao Chun will be able to move unhindered throughout the entire Black Sea. It is not just the Black Sea. It would not be too exaggerated for him to move unhindered throughout the entire oceanic world. As the great bandits of the Black Sea took out their engraved cards one after another, inviting Xiao Chun, all the cultivators in Dark City revealed envious, jealous, and hateful expressions. In the history of the Black Sea, when had 13 great bandits ever sent an invitation to one person at the same time, the scene before Xiao Chun's eyes would definitely become a legend. If looks could kill, Xiao Chun would have died several times over under the gazes of these tens of thousands of people. After all the great bandits left, the Flame Rock Sovereign walked over with a smile. Then, he patted Xiao Chun's shoulder and said, "Little friend, you helped me gain face this time." When those old fogies came in, they were all very cowardly. I had not seen them so obedient in a long time. They did not even dare to let out a fart after being scolded. Xiao Chun smiled. It looked like the fiery tempers of the two brothers, Ba Tu and Ba Yin, must have come from the Flame Rock Sovereign. Their unruliness was carved from the same mold. Then, the Flame Rock Sovereign looked at the engraved cards in Xiao Chun's hand. Then, he withdrew his smile and said seriously, "After you finish my special training, you must go to the other great bandits. Don't ever underestimate these engraved cards." Xiao Chun's expression turned serious. After thinking about it, he understood. As a descendant of the Qing Emperor, Xiao Chun understood how horrifying his enemies were during the king conferral ceremony. 13 engraved cards represented 13 sovereign martial emperors, representing that the entire Black Sea stood on Xiao Chun's side. It went without saying how powerful this force was when it was gathered into a ball. On this night, Xiao Chun used his unparalleled elegance to subdue the 13 great bandits of the Black Sea, obtaining a strong helper for himself. Absolute elegance, unparalleled in the world. Xiao Chun solemnly put away the 12 engraved cards and thanked the Flame Rock Sovereign again. Then he asked, "Senior, when will you start teaching me how to use primordial energy?" "There's no rush. We'll talk about it after daybreak. You should rest well first," the Flame Rock Sovereign said casually as he waved his hand. 10 days of comprehending Tao did indeed tire him somewhat. Xiao Chun nodded and landed in his courtyard with a few flashes. Inside his bedroom, Xiao Chan took out the primordial pill that the Thunder King gave him. Then, he revealed a rueful expression. The Flame Rock Sovereign's favor was too great. Xiao Chan did not know when he could repay it. There was also Ao Jiao. If not for little Ao Jiao, the Flame Rock Sovereign would not be so close to Xiao Chan. It was also because of Ao Jiao that the Flame Rock Sovereign did not fulfill his bet and handed the primordial pill to Xiao Chan. Xiao Chan made another bet with the Flame Rock Sovereign. Aside from verifying his sharp spirit finger, he also wanted to let himself obtain this primordial pill in a more logical manner. Huang Dang. Just as Xiao Chan was thinking about Ao Jiao, the windows opened. Then, Ao Jiao's figure flashed, and she arrived in the bedroom. The instant the windows opened, gentle moonlight landed on Ao Jiao, bathing her in a refreshing and refined aura. This stunned Xiao Chan slightly. Unexpectedly, Ao Jiao could show such a moving scene. Idiot master, what are you thinking about? Ao Jiao asked with a smile as she stood on the study table. Aside from Xiao Chan, the person who was the happiest about Xiao Chan being able to comprehend the sharp spirit finger and gain the favor of the 13 great bandits of the Black Sea was naturally Ao Jiao. Xiao Chan smiled faintly and did not answer Ao Jiao. He was eloquent, but he was not good at lying to people he was familiar with. There were some things that would cause misunderstandings if he said them, so there was no need to say them. Seeing that Xiao Chan did not answer, Ao Jiao guessed some things in her heart. She did not mind, so she asked casually, "We will be returning to Heavenly Star Island soon. Do you have any plans?" Xiao Chan answered honestly, "I've thought about this long ago. After I return, I plan to erect the Dragon's Gate's mountain tablet and announce it to the world, officially establishing the Dragon's Gate." Isn't that a little too fast? Ao Jiao was startled. Although she knew that this was a plan that Xiao Chan had made long ago, she had not expected it to be so rushed. All along, she felt that Xiao Chan would officially establish the Dragon's Gate after he advanced to Martial Emperor. Xiao Chan stood up and put away the primordial pills. Then, he shook his head and said, "It is not really fast. Today, I received these 12 engraved cards, which further solidified my plan. There are some things that I have to do. Doing it sooner or later makes no difference." There was another important reason. Before Xiao Chan advanced to Martial Emperor, he needed to return to the Sky Dome realm. What identity should he return with? Of course, it would be best if he returned as the Dragon's Gate's sect master. That way, he could resolve the knot in his father's heart. Just as the two discussed the details of formally establishing the Dragon's Gate, Xiao Chan suddenly froze. Suddenly, Xiao Chen's expression froze, revealing a pained expression. Ao Jiao asked doubtfully, "What's wrong?" "Someone invaded my sea of consciousness." "Don't worry." After Xiao Chen said that, he quickly closed his eyes and sat cross-legged on the bed, feeling unprecedentedly nervous. Ao Jiao watched from the side, finding it somewhat strange. However, she could not do anything to help, so she could only worry helplessly. A strong energy in Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness entered the depths of his mind without any fear. It was like it wanted to dig out all his secrets. Many scenes flashed in Xiao Chen's mind. However, the scene stopped at the Sky Dome realm, the Heavenly Saber Pavilion's Qinyun Peak, where Xiao Chun and Lu Ryue interacted. The powerful mental energy went berserk, trying to destroy all the memories in his mind. "Who is it? Are you trying to turn me into an idiot, killing me invisibly? Dream on." Xiao Chan raged in his heart. All the mental energy in his sea of consciousness surged, forming a divine wall to block that extremely tyrannical mental energy. Chapter 12:51. Bang, bang, bang. That extremely tyrannical mental energy was like a heavy punch, shattering all the walls of mental energy. Oh no, this mental energy is too tyrannical. The person who made a move was definitely a prime. Furthermore, it was the kind that specialized in mental energy. Otherwise, Xiao Chen would not have been so defenseless. Xiao Chen's mental energy had already condensed into magic energy. It was not something that an ordinary Emperor Wu could casually barge in. Unable to resist at all, The mental energy wall that Xiao Chun condensed crumbled like rotten wood, easily destroying it. I'll fight it out with you. Xiao Chun gave up on defending and gathered the last of his mental energy. His entire sea of consciousness surged. The surging magic energy also condensed into a fist light and punched out. At the crucial moment, just as the fist lights were about to clash, Xiao Chen's blue dragon martial spirit suddenly startled awake. It directly entered his sea of consciousness and attached itself to Xiao Chen's mental energy fist light. When the other party's mental energy fist light sensed the appearance of the blue dragon martial spirit, it was clearly stunned, pausing for a moment. When the other party saw Xiao Chen's azure fist light approaching, it retreated despite holding the absolute advantage. However, everything returned to normal. Xiao Chen opened his eyes, and blood leaked out of a corner of his lips. He felt dizzy and in incredible pain. Furthermore, this pain came from the soul. No matter how strong his physical body was, he could not resist it. Xiao Chun, what's wrong? Ao Jiao asked out of concern as she rushed over and supported Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun wiped off the blood at the corner of his lips and said, Emperor Forsaken personally made a move against me. Being a prime and cultivating mental energy, the range of people who could make a move against Xiao Chun immediately narrowed down. Aside from this person, no one else in the entire Kunlun realm could have such a strong mental energy. There is absolutely no one else with such a strong mental energy able to kill someone from millions of kilometers away. Furthermore, by doing so, it would be hard to leave behind any evidence and give others something to use against him. This group of people is really desperate. They are too shameless. Ao Jiao said with distress. Xiao Chun comforted Ao Jiao with a smile. Don't worry. After this failure, he won't dare to make a move again. Since a supreme being had failed once, he naturally did not have the face to make a second attempt. However, for some unknown reason, Xiao Chun still felt a shadow in his heart. Early the next morning, the Flame Rock Castle had already regained its peace and quiet. All the cultivators who were alarmed by Xiao Chen's comprehension had already left. The Flame Rock Sovereign frowned the moment he saw Xiao Chun. What's wrong? Given your physical body, you should have recovered from all your injuries by now. Why is your spirit still so weak? Xiao Chun could not hide anything from the Flame Rock Sovereign. So, he honestly recounted what happened the previous night. You guessed right. It should be Emperor Forsaken. I once interacted with several deity race Emperor Wu. They're all capable of this. The Flame Rock Sovereign confirmed Xiao Chen's guess. Then, he continued, someone must have spread the news of the 13 great bandits of the Black Sea giving you the engraved medallion last night, driving this group of people into desperation. Xiao Chen's expression did not change much. He said calmly, Senior, please teach me how to cultivate primordial energy. The Flame Rock Sovereign was startled. He did not see any rage or hatred in Xiao Chen's eyes. Instead, Xiao Chun calmly stated his request. You are really able to keep your composure. If I were as young as you, I would have flown into a rage long ago. Who knows, I might even kill a few deity race cultivators to vent my anger. Xiao Chen smiled and asked, Is there any use? The Flame Rock Sovereign was slightly stunned. Then he said, Indeed, there is no use. He is a prime who cleared a 9th heavenly lightning tribulation. What is the point of me doing all this? All I need to do is live properly. Live until I can deal a fatal blow to him and wash away my humiliation. I need to prevent him from messing up my plans. Xiao Chen's gaze was as calm as still water. However, if one peered through that deep water, one would see the hatred hidden in the depths. At the King Conferral ceremony, Emperor Forsaken had tried to cripple Xiao Chun on the spot, showing no mercy at all. Xiao Chun remembered Dugu Ao's furious roars in the human-demon paradise like it was still fresh in his mind, something that he would never forget. At this point, the hatred between Xiao Chun and Emperor Forsaken could no longer be resolved. Hatred was hard to erase. Only killing could end it. What Xiao Chun needed to do was to continuously grow stronger, trampling on all his enemies on the Emperor's road. The Flame Rock Sovereign revealed a smile on his face. Since ancient times, No one's emperor's road has been as arduous as yours. I look forward to the day you advance to martial emperor. When a lesson on cultivating primordial energy started, the Flame Rock Sovereign did not immediately teach Shao Chun. Instead, he explained the primordial energy that the various martial emperors possessed. The cultivation of primordial energy is something that every Emperor Wu has to go through. Normally speaking, a first Heaven Emperor Wu can condense 100 strands of primordial energy. A second Heaven Emperor Wu can condense 200 strands of primordial energy, and a third Heaven Emperor Wu can condense 300 strands of primordial energy. Based on this, the number increases exponentially. At the ninth heaven, a sovereign martial emperor can condense 900 strands of primordial energy. With a rough comparison, one could tell that a sovereign Emperor Wu of the ninth heaven was 9 times stronger than a first heaven Emperor Wu. In reality, in a true battle, it would be more than 9 times stronger. Even 100 first heaven Emperor Wu would not be enough to kill a sovereign martial emperor. The difference between the two could no longer be made up for with numbers. With each lightning tribulation, the improvement that Emperor Wu received was not limited to just the physical body. Primordial energy would also undergo a transformation and experience a great leap forward. With such a comparison, Shao Chun felt that his 10 strands of primordial energy were insufficient before a sovereign martial emperor. The Flame Rock Sovereign continued, "What do you think my purpose in telling you all this?" Clearly, the Flame Rock Sovereign would not waste time explaining something unimportant. It had to be closely related to Shao Chun's cultivation. After thinking for a while, Shao Chun came to an answer. However, after being tricked by the Flame Rock Sovereign once, he was more cautious. Shao Chun probed, "Senior's meaning should be to tell me why different levels of Emperor Wu can refine different amounts of primordial energy. The answer should be in the physical body. After that, Senior will give me some pointers based on the strength of my physical body, helping me cultivate to the limit of primordial energy that my physical body can endure." The Flame Rock Sovereign revealed a gratified smile. "It is really easy to deal with smart people. That's right. This is the principle. The strength of your physical body has already reached the level of a first heaven emperor, Wu's golden body. That is enough to refine 100 strands of primordial energy." Fortunately, the Flame Rock Sovereign did not trick him this time. Shao Chun heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he had some questions that he wanted to ask. "Senior, many people did not cultivate their physical bodies before advancing to martial emperor. After advancing to Emperor Wu, they would also possess the golden body of Emperor Wu. In that case, wouldn't all the suffering that cultivators of the physical body like me suffered before advancing to martial emperor be for nothing?" Shao Chun had personally experienced how painful the cultivation of the physical body was. If not for cultivating the physical body blindly and trying to stand out among those of the same cultivation realm, Shao Chun would not have ended up in such a state, needing to advance to martial emperor in 5 years. Actually, this problem had troubled Shao Chun for a long time, something he could not understand. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "If you think that way, then you are gravely mistaken. Pay attention to what I said earlier. I added a phrase. Generally speaking." Shao Chun was very sharp. The moment the Flame Rock Sovereign mentioned it, he immediately thought of the phrase. "That's right. However, there are some people who are different. I'm talking about you, cultivators of the physical body. The heavens have always been fair. The more suffering one suffers, the more benefits one will obtain. Whether it is you, cultivators of the physical body, or other cultivators, this principle is the same." The Flame Rock Sovereign continued, "After you advance to Emperor Wu, you will naturally understand this principle. For now, there is no need for you to consider this. Take out the primordial pills that I gave you. I'll teach you how to refine these medicinal pills." "Don't I just need to swallow the medicinal pills? Could there be some other way to refine them?" Shao Chun could not understand, so he took out the primordial pills. The Flame Rock Sovereign received the bottle and laughed loudly. "If you really swallow them, you will waste most of the medicinal energy in these primordial pills. What should I do?" The Flame Rock Sovereign did not rush to explain. His expression uncharacteristically turned stern. I once told you that you will not learn any of the 3 techniques for free, as these are things that only Emperor Wu can learn in the first place. Cultivating as a consummation blue-robed Emperor is going against the heavens. The suffering you will suffer is unavoidable. Even if you cultivate the sharp spirit finger according to my method, it will still be extraordinarily painful. What I want to say is that my cultivation of primordial energy is also boundlessly tyrannical and extremely dangerous, not to mention the pain. Xiao Chun said after some thought, "Senior should understand my determination to comprehend the sharp spirit finger. As long as it can increase my strength, I am willing to accept any danger." "All right, bring me the saber." The Flame Rock Sovereign's face sank as he said something that confused everyone. Xiao Chun did as he was told. Without any hesitation, he took out a sharp short saber from the universe ring. Pucci! The Flame Rock Sovereign directly stabbed with his saber. In the hands of the Flame Rock Sovereign, Xiao Chun's half-step golden body was like paper. With one slash, a finger-size hole appeared, and fresh blood gushed out. Don't let your wounds heal. With your great perfection blue-robed Emperor cultivation base, if you want to obtain the primordial energy that only First Heaven Emperor Wu can cultivate, this is only the first step. The Flame Rock Sovereign said expressionlessly with a cold expression. Xiao Chun clenched his teeth, letting the blood flow freely as he endured the torturous pain. The Flame Rock Sovereign took out a primordial pill and flicked his finger, sending the medicinal pill into the cave. Xiao Chun's blood immediately greedily absorbed the primordial energy in the medicinal pill. This explosive energy instantly filled his body, giving him a sense of boundless power. The primordial energy in the primordial pill was several times more than what Xiao Chun absorbed when he opened the door of space and time. This was equivalent to 10 years of cultivation. Xiao Chun had not reached the level of the physical body of Emperor Wu's golden body. This explosive energy tested his physical body to the extreme. The Flame Rock Sovereign did not say anything. He stabbed the saber at Xiao Chun's chest again before putting in a second primordial pill. Third strike, fourth strike, fifth strike. After the Flame Rock Sovereign stabbed 9 times in a row, he stopped. Chapter 1252. Every stab was so bloody that no one could bear to look at it. After the 9th stab, Lin Fan's eyes widened. After the 9 stabs, 9 thumb-sized wounds surrounded Xiao Chun's heart, forming an average-sized circle. Dong! 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 Xiao Chun's heart pounded rhythmically. Every time it beat, his body absorbed a vast amount of primordial energy. Xiao Chun's physical body could explode at any moment. What was the meaning of playing with the heartbeat? Xiao Chun's current state vividly displayed this saying. Although Xiao Chun already did his best to absorb this primordial energy into his heart of an emperor, it was still far from enough. If the Flame Rock Sovereign did not take some measures, Xiao Chun would explode into pieces in a short while. There was still one last primordial pill in the jade bottle. However, the Flame Rock Sovereign did not use it. After closing the jade bottle, he quickly tapped Xiao Chun's chest with one hand. Light flickered on the tip of the Flame Rock Sovereign's finger. With every tap, a beam of light soared into the sky from Xiao Chun's body. After tapping 9 times, a miniature formation appeared on Xiao Chun's chest, slowly circulating. At the same time, a formation appeared under Xiao Chun's feet. Like the 9 beams of light, there was a formation in the air. This formation is called the 9 Revolution Universe Origin Formation. In the past, Immortals used it to temper their immortal war body. After I obtained it, I made some changes to it. Firstly, it can maintain your physical body, preventing it from exploding from the primordial pill's medicinal energy. Secondly, it can amplify the medicinal energy. With every revolution of the 9 Revolution Universe Origin Formation, the primordial energy will increase by half. The Flame Rock Sovereign withdrew his hand, revealing a fatigued expression. This formation represents heaven, earth, and man. The 3 links are interconnected, and you cannot do without any of them. If you cannot endure the pain from the medicinal energy and give up halfway, the formation on your chest will be destroyed. The instant the formation loses balance, you will turn to ashes as well. Xiao Chan smiled bitterly in his heart. The intense pain prevented him from speaking. If he could speak, he would definitely curse out loud. The Flame Rock Sovereign had forced him into a dead end. Xiao Chun had not expected the Flame Rock Sovereign's cultivation method to be so dangerous. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled faintly and said, "I'll go and drink first. Little friend, you have to do your best and hold on. Otherwise, this Flame Rock Castle that has been passed down for thousands of years will be destroyed along with you." The Flame Rock Sovereign forced a smile and quickly left, like he was dodging a human bomb. This angered Xiao Chun to the point of wanting to rush out and kick the Flame Rock Sovereign. The Flame Rock Sovereign, who appeared to have left easily, had not actually gone far. He and Ao Jiao drank wine on a tall building. As long as the two turned their heads slightly, they would see Xiao Chun seated cross-legged on the ground. "Xiao Ba, aren't you being too harsh on Xiao Chun?" Ao Jiao said worriedly as she looked at the wound on Xiao Chen's chest that had not healed yet and listened to his thumping heart. Xiao Chen's skin had already split open. Blood seeped out and dyed his white robes scarlet from the inside out. Veins bulged on Xiao Chen's forehead and blood covered his face. Who knew what kind of pain he was enduring? The Flame Rock Sovereign said sullenly, "He has no choice but to be more ruthless. He is a consummation blue-robed emperor. If he wants to condense 100 strands of primordial energy, even if he has the primordial pill, the half-step golden body, and my 9-revolution universe origin formation, he will have to gamble with his life. The heaven-defying path is not dangerous at all, so it cannot be considered heaven-defying." Ao Jiao put down her wine cup and frowned slightly. Please don't let anything happen to him. Dancing on the edge of a knife is really worrying. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "Don't worry. Given his tenacity, he will be able to endure it. If it really surpasses what he cannot accomplish, I will not force him into a dead end." Ao Jiao smiled faintly and turned her head. "Xiao Ba, many thanks to you this time. Let me offer you a toast on behalf of Xiao Chun." The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled embarrassedly and said, "Elder sister Ao Jiao, why are you being so polite with me? He inherited the treasures that the Thunder King left behind. Now that you ask me for help, how could I possibly reject? Without you and without the Thunder King, how could there be the current Flame Rock Sovereign? Furthermore, this little fellow is indeed a charming treasure. His potential has not been dug out yet. Perhaps I might have to seek guidance from him in the future." Xiao Qin guessed that the Flame Rock Sovereign's willingness to teach him had a lot to do with Ao Jiao. However, he did not guess that Ao Jiao personally asked the Flame Rock Sovereign for his sake. After thinking about it carefully, one could understand. Without a deep connection, which sovereign martial emperor would teach an outsider their consummate technique that they did not pass on? Furthermore, they would waste 1 month to teach Xiao Chun personally. No one in the world would be nice to you for no reason. The setting sun shone on the tall building, dyeing Ao Jiao's youthful face red. She put down her wine cup and looked at Xiao Chun with a melancholic expression. She muttered to herself, "Little Ao Jiao, it is useless. I can only help you up to this point." Dong, dong. 3 days later, Xiao Chen's heartbeat finally slowed down. However, when it slowed down, the primordial energy it carried became even more vast and heavy. It was like an ancient divine bell, beating every time it beat, shocking everyone. Every time it beat, the entire Flame Rock castle trembled. However, this time, the Flame Rock Sovereign had the foresight to lay a formation outside the castle, isolating all sound. Otherwise, with the sound of Xiao Chen's heartbeat resounding in the sky like a divine bell, it would definitely attract all the cultivators in Dark City. Up in the tall building, the Flame Rock Sovereign's expression relaxed. He said to Ao Jiao, "His situation is already stabilized. Even if he gives up now, there will not be any danger of his body exploding. It all depends on how much he can obtain in the end." Joy flashed on Ao Jiao's face. "What do you mean?" The Flame Rock Sovereign explained. "This 9-revolution universe origin formation relies on the cultivator's talent. In the most perfect situation, It can use 9 primordial pills to form 90 strands of primordial energy. Ao Jiao found it strange. She said, I know about the primordial pill. Although it is hard to refine and extremely rare in the Kunlun realm, it should not have such a horrifying effect, right? Even so, the medicinal effect shouldn't be so terrifying, right? A single pill can form a strand of primordial energy. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, Elder Sister Ao Jiao, you might not know about this. My 9 Revolution Universe Origin Formation is a formation passed down from the Immortal epic. It can amplify the medicinal energy. A skilled formation master can double the medicinal energy with each cycle. After layering it 9 times, it will reach an astronomical number. This is just a simplified version of the 9 Revolution Universe Origin Formation. It is not that horrifying. However, it can still increase the medicinal energy by 81 times. Do you still think I'm exaggerating? Ao Jiao said after some thought. 81 times, that is more than 700 primordial pills. Given that, it is indeed not an exaggeration. However, in the end, it still depends on his luck. If he is not determined enough, it would not be strange for him to condense only 10 strands of primordial energy, the Flame Rock Sovereign said after some thought. Ao Jiao asked, how much primordial energy do you think Xiao Chun can condense in the end? The Flame Rock Sovereign thought for a while before voicing his opinion. Right now, for every day he persists, he can obtain 10 strands of primordial energy. I estimate that he can persist for another 5 days and finally condense 60 strands of primordial energy. Ao Jiao said indifferently, I feel that he can persist for 9 days. Before he completely absorbs the medicinal energy, he will not stop. The Flame Rock Sovereign said, that's impossible. Could it be that he has experienced something even more painful than this? Ao Jiao smiled and did not say anything. Xiaochen had indeed experienced it before. The lightning tribulation in the Sky Dome realm was much more painful than this. 5 days passed in a flash. The time that the Flame Rock Sovereign estimated for Xiao Chun was up. However, Xiao Chun still showed no signs of stopping. How did this fellow do it? The Flame Rock Sovereign exclaimed in shock. Under the triple formation of heaven, earth, and man, Xiao Chen's current aura was already so surging that it was terrifying. A faint emperor's might spread behind Xiao Chun, lingering for a long time, suppressing him layer by layer. The Flame Rock Sovereign's eyes lit up. Peering through the layers of light, he saw that Xiao Chun had already condensed 60 strands of primordial energy. Every strand of primordial energy was incredibly dense, like a true dragon. The vast and forceful primordial energy swam in Xiao Chen's heart of an emperor, roaring endlessly along with his heartbeat. This fellow actually didn't forget to refine the primordial energy while he was condensing it. The shock in the Flame Rock Sovereign's heart could not be described with words. Given this, when the medicinal pill finished absorbing the primordial energy, Xiao Chun would be able to completely control the primordial energy. The sun rose and set. Another 3 days passed. The emperor's might behind Xiao Chun piled up. It was already boundlessly heavy, nearly turning solid. The effects of the medicinal pill are over. It's time to open your eyes, right? The Flame Rock Sovereign muttered. When he saw the emperor's might behind Xiao Chun, the Flame Rock Sovereign sighed in his heart. He had personally created a miracle. The consummation blue-robed emperor had cultivated 100 strands of primordial energy. When Xiao Chun opened his eyes, it would be like a new Emperor Wu was born. Right after the Flame Rock Sovereign spoke, Xiao Chun suddenly opened his eyes, and the accumulated emperor's might behind him burst out. Bang! The emperor's might, which had been suppressed for a long time, soared into the sky like a rainbow, instantly shattering the formation that the Flame Rock Sovereign laid. Then it tore through the clouds and turned into colorful clouds spreading out, encasing the entire dark city. Colorful lights spread out, and Emperor's might spread everywhere. The many cultivators in Dark City looked up, feeling shocked in their hearts. Which lucky person cleared the great tribulation of wind and fire and advanced to martial emperor? Only someone who had just advanced to Emperor Wu would appear, unable to control the Emperor's might and causing colorful clouds to fill the sky. However, after thinking about it, they felt that this was impossible. The great tribulation of wind and fire caused such a huge commotion. How could there be no sign at all? All of this was something that only the 13 great bandits of Dark City were able to guess at. At the same time, they revealed smiles on their faces. They had not given the wrong engraved medallion back then. That person was worthy of their support. Inside the Flame Rock Castle, Xiao Chun drifted over. He smiled and said, "Senior, I did not let you down. I successfully endured it." The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "Congratulations. However, I'm afraid that I cannot teach you the final technique." Feeling curious, Xiao Chun asked why. The Flame Rock Sovereign said helplessly, "Originally, I was preparing to simulate a great tribulation of wind and fire to let you experience it in advance. However, you are growing too fast, far surpassing my expectations. I can no longer simulate your great tribulation of wind and fire. If I let you clear it easily, it will only mislead you. It will only mislead you and will not have any effect at all. Instead, it will be harmful." Chapter 1253. This stunned Xiao Chun. This answer made him feel somewhat nervous. The Flame Rock Sovereign smiled and said, "During this period, go and pay a visit to the other great bandits. At the same time, stabilize your cultivation. After that, return to Heavenly Star Island. When the Dragon's Gate is unveiled, don't forget to send me an invitation." It looked like Ao Jiao had already told the Flame Rock Sovereign his plan. Being able to get the Flame Rock Sovereign to come and help establish the Dragon's Gate, Xiao Chun felt more confident. Xiao Chun performed a cupped fist salute and said, "I will never forget Senior's kindness." The Flame Rock Sovereign looked at Ao Jiao, who was drinking alone on the tall building. Then he sighed softly. "Little friend, I'll say this very sincerely. Whether you repay this kindness or not, I do not mind. If you have the heart, take good care of Ao Jiao and investigate the cause of Big Brother Sang Mu's death. Right now, you have overwhelming luck. With the Thunder King standing behind you, there are some things that are much safer for you to do than for me." Xiao Chun nodded and said, "Don't worry. Even if Senior did not mention this, I would do it." The process of visiting the 13 great bandits went smoothly. These sovereign martial emperors had already been convinced by Xiao Chun's grace in the first place. After meeting and chatting, they felt even more satisfied. Xiao Chun always held respect for senior experts and would not appear boundlessly arrogant. "If others respect me, I will respect them tenfold." This had always been Xiao Chun's motto. After the visit ended, Xiao Chun truly formed a connection with these great bandits. Since ancient times, only Xiao Chun had managed to gain the friendship of these 13 great bandits at the same time. After dealing with the matter of the Black Sea, Xiao Chun was eager to return, wishing that he could rush to Heavenly Star Island immediately. 4 flood dragons pulled the war chariot, rushing through the clouds at lightning-fast speed, heading for Heavenly Star Island. Actually, right now, Xiao Chun's personal speed was even faster than the Flood Dragon war chariot. However, he did not have a strong physique like the Flood Dragons, able to maintain his speed without slowing down. In terms of long-distance travel, the Flood Dragon war chariot was more suitable. It would also be more efficient. Inside the war chariot, Xiao Chun did not neglect his cultivation. Now, Xiao Chun had 100 strands of primordial energy, a half-step golden body, and grasped the instant of glory, the 1,000-year hegemony establishment, and the subduing dragon profound slash, 3 medial grade profound martial techniques. Furthermore, he had practiced all of them to small perfection. What was even more frantic was his ultimate skill, the telepathic finger, which could instantly mobilize all his strength. If Xiao Chun were to face Emperor Wu of the First Heaven with such strength, he would be able to fight against Emperor Wu of the First Heaven even without using the cycle banner. If Xiao Chun used the cycle banner, he would be able to obtain victory easily. He would not have to put in as much effort as he did against Old Han. As for Emperor Wu, who was at the second layer of heaven, Xiao Chun still didn't know much about him, so it wasn't appropriate for him to make a judgment. However, if he wanted to retreat, The other party shouldn't be able to do anything to him. Right now, I still have 3 paths to raise my strength. The first is my peak will of thunder. The second is my 70% comprehended saber soul. The third is the breakthrough of the purple thunder divine incantation. Xiao Chun analyzed calmly. None of the 3 paths was easy. The peak will of thunder required one to materialize the illusory before one could condense an innate thunder crystal. After raising the saber soul to 100% comprehension and forming his own saber domain, it would be as difficult as ascending to heaven. For the purple thunder divine incantation to break through to the 7th layer, Xiao Chun would need to undergo another lightning tribulation before he could advance to the 8th layer. Clearly, these 3 paths could not be taken at the same time. They had to be done one at a time of priority. Along the way to Heavenly Star Island, aside from stabilizing his cultivation and absorbing primordial energy at a fixed time every day, Xiao Chun pondered this problem. When he was only 3 days away from Heavenly Star Island, Xiao Chun made his decision to raise his saber soul first. After all, in the end, he was a bladesman. Before advancing to Martial Emperor, he had to form his own saber domain. Now that Xiao Chun's cultivation of his saber soul had reached the later stages, he could only rely on peak-grade Demon Fiend rocks if he wanted to speed it up. After he returned to Heavenly Star Island, he would ask the Green Dragon Chamber of Commerce to keep an eye on this. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. When A.O. Jiao told Xiao Chun that Heavenly Star Island was within sight, Xiao Chun stopped cultivating and walked out of the chariot. Xiao Chun's vision immediately widened. The familiar sea region appeared before him. He could see the silhouette of Heavenly Star Island with his naked eye. He could already see the closest subsidiary islands clearly. Now, Heavenly Star Island already controlled all the subsidiary islands in the sea region. No one else dared to interfere. Before Xiao Chun left, he forced back the purple-clad Marquis, a greater Heavenly Emperor Wu. This spread the fame of Heavenly Star Island throughout the Western Sea. Anyone who wanted to target Heavenly Star Island would have to weigh themselves first. Otherwise, they would not be able to get anything good out of it. As Xiao Chun got closer, he could already see the buildings on Heavenly Star Island with his naked eye. The first thing that entered his eyes was a vast and majestic city. It looked like a huge, true dragon coiled above the pirates. Hence, the existence of the city fixed the geomancy of the surroundings. All the luck gathered and encased Heavenly Star Island. Indistinct dragon chi could be seen moving in and out of the clouds above Heavenly Star Island. It looked extraordinary. Vaguely, this city had the air of a holy city. It was not much inferior to the Lunar Palace's Bright Moon City. The majestic city gates had the words Heaven Dragon City written on them. Armored guards stood on the city walls, all of them wearing the same uniform. Xiao Chun looked carefully and saw that the uniform was the uniform of the deceased Dragon's Gate. However, it lacked the symbol of the Dragon's Gate. Chun must have made it. As Xiao Chun stood in the air and looked at this majestic city, he felt somewhat shocked. Unexpectedly, in a short 1 year, Chun had helped him build up the city. She had built such a huge city on the rubble of that day's destruction. Chun was an extraordinary girl who excelled in zither, chess, calligraphy, medicine, divination, refining, and brewing. She had truly helped him a lot. Halt! Without the azure robe token issued by the city lord's residence, you are not allowed to fly into the city. If you do not have it, I hope that the few of you will enter through the city gates. If you try to barge in, we will activate the protective formation. Just as Xiao Chun was about to fly down from the clouds and enter the city, the scene above the city gates made him frown slightly. A group of black-clad people wearing conical bamboo hats wanted to barge into the city walls and fly in. Xiao Chun knew that most holy cities had such a rule. If one was not an honored guest, one could not fly around the city. This was the case in Bright Moon City and Dark City, which Xiao Chun had been to before. These people knew that the Heaven Dragon City had such a rule, but they still dared to barge in. It was very likely that they were here to cause trouble. Xiao Chun squinted his eyes and looked over. As he expected, the leader of the group was a half-step Emperor Wu, and the people behind him were all blue-robed emperors of different cultivation realms. So powerful. Which force sent this team? Xiao Chun thought to himself. What a joke. We are from the West Ocean Dragon Palace. What rules do we have to follow in your little Heaven Dragon City? Get out of the way and don't block our way into the city. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. The black-clad old man in the lead sneered and took off his conical bamboo hat, revealing the unique fiery red dragon robe of the West Ocean Dragon Palace. The four people behind him also took off their conical bamboo hats at the same time to show their identities. So that is the case. Xiao Chun now understood. Only the overlord of the Western Sea, the Western Sea Dragon Palace, could send such a strong team. The scene on the city walls immediately caused a commotion. Several cultivators lining up to enter the city stopped to watch. Interesting. This is the 8th time the Western Sea Dragon Palace has sent people to cause trouble. It can't be helped. Who asked Heavenly Star Island to develop too fast? The few large-scale auctions they held completely overshadowed the Western Sea Dragon Palace's limelight. Now, when people mention the Heavenly Starry Ocean or the Western Sea, the first place that comes to mind is Heavenly Star Island. The Western Sea Dragon Palace's reputation is completely suppressed. It is not just the auctions. The secret treasures, wine, and armor produced by Heavenly Star Island are all excellent. It would be hard for such a city not to prosper. The rise of Heavenly Star Island is clear for all to see. The Western Sea Dragon Palace is really desperate this time. To think that they're so direct in their suppression. I wonder how Heavenly Star City will deal with this. I heard that they endured the previous few times. The discussions at the city gates gave Xiao Chun a rough understanding of the situation. Xiao Chun did not show much surprise on his face. It was not strange for an old overlord to suppress a rising faction that could threaten him. But of all the things she shouldn't have done, she shouldn't have provoked him. The protective formation? Who are you trying to scare? If you really dare to activate it, it means that you're trying to start a war. At that time, I, the Western Sea Dragon King, will lead the 7 heroes of the dragon and flatten your Heavenly Star Island in minutes. The black-clad old man leading the group shouted coldly. The leading black-clad old man shouted coldly. This made the soldiers guarding the city feel very dissatisfied, but they could do nothing about it. Scram, just an insignificant Heaven Dragon city, and you dare to put on such airs? Do you really think that you're a holy city? The black-clad man directly sent out a palm strike and knocked back the soldiers in front of him. These soldiers were only martial monarchs. The captain was only a martial sage. Without activating the protective formation, he was like an ant to this half-step Emperor Wu. How could the soldiers block such a sudden attack? They were severely injured and fell off the city. Seeing that the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's people actually made a move, the expressions of the people watching at the city gates all changed. These Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace elders were too overboard to attack the soldiers guarding the city. What status did these people have? They were Divine Dragon Palace elders, people with high authority. As for the soldiers guarding the city, they were just the lowest level people of Heavenly Star Island. You can't even withstand a single strike. With just this bit of strength, you dare to block our way? The black-clad old man smiled coldly. Then, he led the 4 people behind him, preparing to fly into the city. You are seeking death. However, just as the 4 were about to fly into the city, a furious shout suddenly resounded in the sky. Following that, 4 dragon roars rang out. A white-clad man holding the reins in his hand drove 4 deep-sea flood dragons on a war chariot, charging over with a surging aura. The instant the black-clad old man made a move, Xiao Chen's face sank. Unexpectedly, this group of people did not care about anything to this extent. Disregarding their status, they even attacked the city guards, minor characters who were only martial monarchs. This was intolerable. A murderous intent flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes as he drove the Flood Dragon war chariot forward. Chapter 1254. The strong aura made Xiao Chen, who was driving the war chariot, look as dignified as a celestial deity. Even the leader, the half-step Emperor Wu, felt somewhat stunned under this aura. Horror appeared in his heart. A flood dragon war chariot? He is the blue dragon king, Xiao Chun. He snatched this war chariot from the eastern sea, divine dragon palace's young palace master. When everyone saw the flood dragon war chariot, they immediately guessed Xiao Chen's identity. This was originally the symbol of the eastern sea divine dragon palace's young palace master, Lung Xiaofan. Now, it became Xiao Chen's personal symbol. This was a great mockery of Lung Xiaofan. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's 5 people had not expected Xiao Chen's sudden appearance. They were somewhat stunned. Blue Dragon King, Xiao Chen is back. However, the many guards on the city walls erupted in thunderous cheers. Back when the old city was destroyed, the scene of Xiao Chen charging out at the most dangerous moment and chopping the Buddha palm with his saber was still fresh in the minds of these guards. When that saber chopped the Buddha palm in half, boundless sunlight poured down and shone on that white figure. That scene was imprinted in the minds of the millions of people in the city. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. Xiao Chen felt somewhat angry in his heart. He could roughly guess why this group of people was so fearless. Naturally, the peak of Heavenly Star Island's combat prowess was Lan Xiaobai and Lan Tianji's master, the Life Reaper Azura Lan Xiaofeng, a peak greater Heavenly Emperor Wu. However, Lan Xiaofeng could only rely on Lan Xiaobai, Elder Qin, Emo Chun, and the other blue-robed emperors. These people were not a match for the half-step Emperor Wu. However, if Lan Xiaofeng made a move to deal with this half-step Emperor Wu, he would definitely give the Western Sea Divine Dragon King a chance to make a move. At that time, when Heavenly Star Island came over to denounce Lan Xiaofeng for not knowing the rules and making a move on a junior, it would become Heavenly Star Island being unreasonable. The Great Emperor also had his own rules. If he made a move against someone below Emperor Wu, he would indeed be a laughing stock in the circle. However, if Lan Xiaofeng did not make a move, no one would be able to restrain this group of people. Hence, the other party repeatedly came to cause trouble, continuously suppressing the newly built Heaven Dragon City. Emo Chun and the others could only endure. If the matter blew up, Heavenly Star Island would be the one to suffer. Not to mention the Western Sea Dragon King's strength as a sovereign martial emperor, there was also the 7 heroes of the dragon. Right now, Heavenly Star Island was no match for this faction that had existed for more than 10,000 years. In the end, he was still lacking some foundation, and he couldn't accomplish it in one go. However, no matter what, a dignified half-step Emperor Wu had attacked a martial emperor. Xiao Chun couldn't bear it. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace truly lives up to being an old subordinate of Neptune. Tell me your name. As Xiao Chun stood on the dragon chariot, he held the reins with one hand and placed the other behind his back. He looked coldly at the black-clad old man who made a move. The black-clad old man felt an inexplicable horror in his heart. Before Xiao Chen's aura, he actually felt timid. What's going on? Although my improvement in the past year is horrifying, reaching consummation blue-robed emperor, I am a half-step Emperor Wu. However, I am a half-step martial emperor. How can I cower before him, not even daring to look him in the eye? Sweat appeared on the black-clad old man's forehead. Why did such a situation happen? He could not figure it out no matter how hard he thought about it. Under the pressure of Xiao Chen's strong aura, the black-clad old man could not help saying his name. This old man's family name is Lu Yuanhe. I am an inner court elder of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace. The moment the black-clad old man said this, he regretted it. I am a half-step Emperor Wu. Why do I have to listen to a consummation blue-robed emperor? However, just as the black-clad old man wanted to say something, Xiao Chen's words stopped him. If you apologize now, I will give the Western Sea Dragon King some face and pretend that nothing happened. When Lu Yuanhe heard this, he became enraged. What a joke. You want me, a half-step Emperor Wu, to apologize to a martial monarch? Did a donkey kick you in the head, Blue Dragon King? After snatching the Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace's Flood Dragon War Chariot, you still dare to use it so openly. You are the only one in the younger generation who can be so arrogant. Earlier, Xiao Qian's aura was too strong. Lu Yuanhe was stunned for a moment. Now, he used the anger in his heart to pull back his aura and rebuked Xiao Qian. The one who should apologize is you, you inexperienced brat. If you beg me now, I can put in a good word for you in front of the Eastern Sea Dragon King. That way, you'll not die too badly. Xiao Qian could not be bothered with Lu Yuanhe's nonsense. He said indifferently, I'll say it one last time. Are you going to apologize or not? The many cultivators of the city gates could not understand. Xiao Qian was a consummation blue-robed emperor. Why was he so domineering when facing the half-step Emperor Wu? Why did he keep demanding an apology? Where did he get the courage to do so? Not going to say anything? In that case, I'll take it that you have given up. Don't blame me for not giving you a chance and attacking too ruthlessly. After saying this casually, Xiao Qian's figure flashed. He executed Thunder Dragon steps and soared into the air. How arrogant! I did not attack you, but you actually dared to attack me first. Lu Yuanhe's lips curled up in a cold smile. Xiao Qian came the right time. He absolutely could not miss out on this opportunity that delivered itself to his doorstep. Defeating Xiao Qian was better than causing a ruckus in Heaven Dragon City 100 times. It would be sufficient to plunge Heaven Dragon City's reputation to rock bottom. However, right after Lu Yuanhe spoke, he could not bring himself to laugh. This was because Xiao Qian, who had been in his vision a moment ago, suddenly vanished. What's going on? Elder Lu behind. He is behind you. Lu Yuanhe's companions warned him anxiously. No one expected Xiao Qian to be so fast. Trying to sneak attack me? You're seeking death. A horrifying aura surged out of Lu Yuanhe's body as he shouted. Then, he turned around and punched. The force of this punch was so great that space buzzed. The ground at the city gates trembled slightly. However, Lu Yuanhe's punch hit nothing but air. Before Lu Yuanhe could even see Xiao Qian's figure, Lu Yuanhe received a slap to the face, knocking him into the air. When Lu Yuanhe stabilized himself, he rubbed his face and looked forward. However, he still did not see Xiao Qian's figure. Lu Yuanhe's expression changed wildly. With a speed like a peal of thunder, he turned around and spoke. "Pa!" An even more resounding slap landed on Lu Yuanhe's face. His body flew back at an even faster speed, but he still did not see Xiao Qian's figure. Lu Yuanhe's heart was filled with horror. He pushed off the air with the tip of his foot and quickly spun forward. In that instant, a strong wind blew. With every spin, Lu Yuanhe brought with him a vast amount of the power of the world. The two slaps made Lu Yuanhe somewhat dizzy. Right now, he could not think of anything other than catching sight of Xiao Qian's figure. Pa! However, as Lu Yuanhe spun around at high speed, a finger mark appeared on his face in the 1,000th of a second, and he spun around. When Lu Yuanhe stopped, he still did not see Xiao Qian's figure, not even a shadow. Elder Lu behind. Behind? Is he behind me? I don't believe that I can't even see your figure. Lu Yuanhe felt very sullen in his heart. However, he did not dare to turn around and attack. Instead, he turned into a flash of light, flying forward at lightning speed before turning around again. Pa! 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 The sound of slaps filled the air. As long as Lu Yuanhe turned around, he would receive a resounding slap. No matter what he did, no matter how fast he sped up, as long as he turned around, he would receive a slap. Unfortunately, Xiao Qian was right behind him. Everyone could see him except for Lu Yuanhe. As long as he turned around, he would receive a slap. This comical scene caused all the guards at the city gates and the other cultivators to roar with laughter. Their laughter was incredibly piercing. Even the 4 people who came with Lu Yuanhe felt their faces burning. This time, they had truly lost a lot of face. After getting slapped, Lu Yuanhe still looked like a fool, searching for the person who slapped him. To think that this fellow would have such a day. The Blue Dragon King truly lives up to his reputation as the Blue Dragon King. Every time that old fellow comes, he flaunts his might. However, no one can do anything to him. I've been suppressing this frustration for a long time. If Miss Mo Chan says that she does not intend to use the protective formation, does he really think that he can stir up any waves in Heaven Dragon City? When the guards in the city saw this scene, they all felt their frustrations vented. When Chun and the others received the news, they rushed over. Originally, they were worried about Xiao Chun. However, when they saw this scene, their lips curled up involuntarily in smiles. Ha ha ha! Blue Dragon King, I see you. I see you. Lu Yuanhe, who had been slapped several thousand times in the air, finally saw Xiao Chen's figure the moment he turned around again. Xiao Chen laughed maniacally. His tone actually contained some joy. He was like a child anxiously searching for something. After finding it, he felt a sincere satisfaction. However, the spectators who saw this clearly knew that Xiao Chun had not moved at all this time, purposely letting Lu Yuanhe see him. They all felt a trace of sorrow in their hearts. It's over. Lu Yuanhe really got slapped silly. His face is already swollen like a pig's head, yet he can still laugh so happily. Why are you so happy? I just got tired of slapping you with my back to you. Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes. His delicate and handsome face looked very nice when he smiled. However, to others, this smile was scarily cold, like that of a demon. The resounding slap rang out again. This slap sent Lu Yuanhe flying to the ground. The other party simply could not see the speed of Xiao Chen's attack at all. Before Xiao Chun, this Lu Yuanhe was like a clown, only able to be toyed with. After Lu Yuanhe landed on the ground, his mind was still somewhat muddled. He kept saying, I see you. I see you. The other 4 blue-robed emperors of the Western Sea, Divine Dragon Palace, felt their faces burning. Their half-step Emperor Wu got slapped silly. In the entire history of the Heavenly Starry Ocean, Lu Yuanhe was probably the first person to get slapped silly. Unfortunately, this first was not a glorious first. Quickly, carry Elder Lu away. This time, we embarrassed ourselves greatly. I wonder how the Vice Palace Masters will deal with us. The 4 blue-robed emperors wished that they could find a hole to hide in. How could they dare to linger? They quickly carried Lu Yuanhe far away like the wind. In the air, Xiao Chun stood upright with his hands behind his back. As he watched this group of people leave, he did not stop them. Although Xiao Chun was proud and hated evil, he was not a fool. Right now, Heavenly Star Island was not a match for the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace. There was no need to be too ruthless. By toying with this Lu Yuanhe today, Xiao Chun had already regained Heavenly Star Island's lost reputation. He had also helped the guards at Lu Yuanhe hurt vent their anger. That was enough. Chapter 1255. Blue Dragon King. Seeing the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's people flee, all the guards on the city walls cheered. The tyrannical air of kingship that Xiao Chun exuded slowly settled. When Xiao Chun looked back, he saw Chun and Lan Xiaobai. They exchanged looks and smiled, understanding each other without saying anything. The Flood Dragon war chariot carried Xiao Chun away. Chun and Lan Xiaobai waved their hands to get the others to move back. Then, they leaped onto the war chariot. Big brother Xiao Chun, did you succeed? Chun asked anxiously. Lan Xiaobai also had a look of anticipation in his eyes. Both of them knew that Xiao Chun had left Heavenly Star Island in search of a way to quickly advance to consummation Blue-Robed Emperor. Given that Xiao Chun could even toy with the half-step Emperor Wu, he must have found a way. Xiao Chun nodded and gave a simple explanation of his experiences. Then he said, this time not only did I advance to consummation Blue-Robed Emperor, but I also condensed the heart of an emperor and can cultivate primordial energy. After the 2 of them received a definite answer, a sincere smile appeared on their faces, brimming with a strong sense of joy. Lan Xiaobai guffawed and said, it looks like the city lord's residence will be holding a grand banquet tonight. We will not return until we are drunk. Xiao Chun replied. Then he asked about the ins and outs of the matter at the city gates. What exactly was going on? Lan Xiaobai hesitated for a while before saying, Chun, you tell him. This is your decision as well. Xiao Chun looked over doubtfully. Could there be more to this? Chun nodded and said, I used the manpower of the entire Heavenly Star Island and some of the secret techniques in the Book of Heavenly Works to complete the general outline of Heaven Dragon City half a year ago. At the same time, the winery on the island and the refining mountain manor on Black Flame Island started operating as well. As you know, we have the Dragon's Gate Treasure Trove and the Green Dragon Chamber of Commerce. We have all sorts of peak ores and rare materials. As soon as the city was built, it quickly became operational. In less than a month, it became the commercial center of the Western Sea. DeBeo and I worked together to take out a few treasures from the Dragon's Gate's treasure trove and hold an auction at regular intervals. The flow of people in Heaven Dragon City immediately increased, completely surpassing that of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's Sea Dragon City. The various merchant associations of the Heavenly Starry Ocean are also fighting to establish themselves in Heaven Dragon City, bringing in a lot of tax revenue. Xiao Chan was slightly speechless. The Heaven Dragon City was like a behemoth. Once it was in operation, the speed at which it rose was unbelievable. Mo Chun continued. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace became envious of the huge benefits. 3 months ago, their young master brought people over, wanting to work with us. Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows and asked, "Work together? What kind of cooperation?" Mo Chun shook her head and said, although they said it was a cooperation, it was essentially banditry. They said that the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace would provide security for Heaven Dragon City and then take 50% of our profits every year. Xiao Chen smiled and said, "This plan is really good. Since when did we need their protection?" Naturally, there is no need to elaborate on what happened after that. It was easy to guess. Naturally, Mo Chun could not agree to such a cooperation. Hence, the other party kept sending people to cause trouble. Mo Chun sized up the situation. Before Xiao Chun returned, she chose to endure and not do anything. Hence, the scene that Xiao Chun saw at the city gates happened. Lan Xiaobai added, "The more despicable thing is that the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's young master spoke arrogantly. Back then, he even wanted to remove Mo Chen's veil. If not for Master appearing and scaring him away, the consequences would have been hard to imagine. There was such a thing?" Xiao Chun felt some rage in his heart as he looked at Mo Chun. Mo Chun smiled calmly and said, "It's fine. He can't get close to me. My cultivation has not fallen behind in the past year." Xiao Chun looked carefully and discovered that it was not just Mo Chun. Even Lan Xiaobai's cultivation had improved significantly in the past year, both advancing to great perfection. Blue-robed Emperor Mo Chun had the Book of Heavenly Works, the cornerstone treasure of an ancient sect. It was perfectly compatible with her, so it was not strange for her to have such improvements. The strange thing was Lan Xiaobai. Although Lan Xiaobai had excellent talent and had the support of the Dragon's Gate treasure, Heavenly Star Island was not an excellent experiential training ground like the astral battlefield. After all, how could he have made such improvements? Mo Chen noticed Xiao Chen's doubts. She said, "I know what you are wondering. The answer lies in the Dragon's Gate's mountain rock that you brought from Bright Moon City." Lan Xiaobai said, "Only now do I know that the Dragon's Gate's mountain rock made from heaven's subduing rock not only has the effect of gathering luck for the sect, but is also an excellent experiential training ground. There are many Dragon's Gate's heroic spirits there. You Chensi, and the others are all cultivating there." Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. Back then, when he first saw the Dragon's Gate's mountain tablet, he had indeed seen an illusion. However, he did not expect that the illusion had other mysteries and could be used for cultivation. In the 1 year that Xiao Chan was gone, the changes that happened to Heavenly Star Island caught him off guard, a pleasant surprise that was too unexpected. However, Xiao Chun could not let his joy go blind. He had to think of a way to deal with the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace. "What do the two of you think about the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace?" Xiao Chun asked. At the mention of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace, the smiles on Mo Chen's and Lan Xiaobai's faces slowly vanished. Worry flashed on their faces. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace had deep accumulations. The Western Sea Dragon King was a sovereign martial emperor, and the 2 vice palace masters were as strong as Emperor Wu. Furthermore, the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace could summon the various marquises at any time. Simply put, this was a huge faction. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace had dominated the Western Sea for more than 10,000 years. If they were not angry, they could flatten Heavenly Star Island. Emo-chan said, Heavenly Star Island still has the Bushin Palace behind it. The Western Sea Dragon King does not dare to make a move. I'm just afraid that he will play some tricks, sending people to harass us. After all, Senior Lan cannot make a move casually. Lan Xiaobai said, We do not have to worry about this right now. With Xiao Chan around, if they dare to send people to harass us, they will just be seeking their own humiliation. As Xiao Chan listened to the two, he realized that they were both very smart people. However, they could not think of any good ideas at this moment. The reason was none other than accumulations. Heavenly Star Island's accumulations were far inferior to that of a veteran overlord like the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace. Big Brother Xiao, you already have a countermeasure in mind? Emo-chan was very intelligent. When she saw Xiao Chen's expression, she could tell that something was amiss. Lan Xiaobai looked over curiously. Xiao Chen just returned, and he already had a countermeasure. This was too inconceivable. Xiao Chen nodded and said, I do indeed have a countermeasure. Actually, when I returned, I already thought about it. I can deal with the tough bone that is the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace and let the Western Sea Dragon King know that Heavenly Star Island is not as simple as it looks on the surface. What countermeasure? Xiao Chen's tone was calm as he slowly said, Announce to the world that the Dragon's Gate will be re-established. When Emo-chan and Lan Xiaobai heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. They had not expected Xiao Chen's countermeasure to be so shocking. Although they knew that Xiao Chen's future goal was to use Heavenly Star Island as the foundation to rebuild the Dragon's Gate, they did not dare to do so. However, Emo-chan and Lan Xiaobai had not expected it to happen so early. This was truly unexpected. Isn't it a bit too early? Lan Xiaobai asked. Emo-chan did not say anything, but she clearly had the same question. Right now, Heavenly Star Island's accumulations were far from sufficient. During the time that Xiao Chan was away, Lan Xiaobai and Emo-chan could be considered the true decision-makers of Heavenly Star Island. There was no need for Xiao Chan to hide his thoughts from them. After organizing his thoughts, Xiao Chan said, Actually, compared to those holy lands, no matter how much Heavenly Star Island develops, we will not be able to reach their accumulations within 100 years. It doesn't matter if we announce it earlier or later. It doesn't matter. Since that is the case, why not announce it earlier? Erecting the Dragon's Gate's signboard would definitely speed up Heavenly Star Island's development. When the two heard this, they were stunned. They had not thought of this problem. After thinking about it carefully, it seemed like it was as Xiao Chan said. Xiao Chan continued, I am a descendant of the Qing Emperor in the first place. Furthermore, I am the Blue Dragon King personally appointed by the Thunder King. I possess the Blue Dragon martial spirit. It is perfectly justifiable for me to erect the Dragon's Gate signboard. I have to stand upright and be open and above board. There is no need to have too many misgivings. Lan Xiaobai looked at the determination and stubbornness in Xiao Chen's eyes. Then he smiled and said, I am fine with it. From the moment you agreed to let me accompany the Hao Ian sect, I already made my choice. No matter what you decide, I will support you. The Tsing Lung scheme is your legend in the first place. I will continue to write it down. I also look forward to the martial Dao convention you promised me. Under the veil, Emo-chan smiled faintly and said, I never object to the things you have decided. Upon hearing the two's words, Xiao Chun felt warmth in his heart. Then, he solemnly thanked Emo-chan. Lan Xiaobai smiled and said, Erecting a signboard might seem easy, but there are too many things to consider. Let's put this matter aside for now. You just returned to Heaven Dragon City today. Let Emo-chan bring you around the city. Lan Xiaobai got out of the chariot. He had to be thinking carefully about how Xiao Chun should proceed with his decision. Xiao Chun recalled the first time he met Lan Xiaobai. The other party's arrogance was still fresh in his mind. Even now, Xiao Chun was somewhat curious about it. Back then, when Lan Xiaobai went to the oceanic world, what kind of blow did he suffer that made him lose the idea of riding the Tsing Lung scheme by himself? Put away the war chariot. I'll bring you around Heaven Dragon City. Mo Chen's words pulled Xiao Chun back to reality. He smiled faintly and put away the Flood Dragon War Chariot. Then he followed Mo Chun and strolled around Heaven Dragon City. The streets and alleys were filled with people. The entire Heaven Dragon City was dozens of times more lively than before it was destroyed. Only by walking around could one feel such a change. Occasionally, the patrolling guards would greet the two respectfully when they saw them. After Mo Chun brought Xiao Chun around the bustling business district, she led Xiao Chun to the unique Heaven Dragon dueling ground. Every detail of the dueling ground was modeled after the Dragon's Gate's ancient city. Several things had already lost their inheritance. Being able to reappear in Heaven Dragon City was very attractive to some cultivators. For example, there were walls with the Dragon's Gate's sages carved on them. As long as one cleared a few stages, one could personally touch them and feel the martial techniques the sages left on the walls. There were many such things. As Xiao Chan walked around, he discovered that several experts of the heavenly starry ocean chose to set up camp here. There were even Half-Step Emperor Wu who opened a dojo and built his own dueling ground. Chapter 1256. Mo Chen explained, "Clearly, we cannot focus on every aspect of the construction of a city. After the general outline was done, I contacted the various merchant associations of the heavenly starry ocean and got them to participate. This is a major reason why Heaven Dragon City is so prosperous now." Mo Chen's explanation was a great eye-opener for Xiao Chun. Her insight and horizons completely surpassed Xiao Chen's in this aspect. If Xiao Chun were in charge of the construction of Heaven Dragon City, he definitely would not have thought so far ahead. As Xiao Chun looked at the bustling Heaven Dragon City in the plaza in the middle of the city, he felt extremely moved. When Xiao Chun first met Mo Chun in the Cloud Sea domain, he probably could not have imagined that such a girl would personally help him build a city that would revive the Dragon's Gate. To Xiao Chun, reviving the Dragon's Gate was actually something he could do. What Xiao Chun excelled at was the cultivation of the martial Dao. If not for Lan Xiaobai and Mo Chun, he would not even know how to revive the Dragon's Gate. As for the future of the Dragon's Gate, Xiao Chun did not have much thought or ambition. Re-establishing the Dragon's Gate was out of a sense of responsibility as a descendant of the Qing Emperor. However, if Xiao Chun wanted to be like the Qing Emperor back then, leading the Dragon's Gate to rule the entire Kunlun realm, he would not be interested. Xiao Chen's pursuit was the supreme martial Dao, to break through to the peak. The tragedy of the Dragon's Gate's destruction in the past also told him that he could not go overboard with some things. The Qing Emperor looked like he swept through the world, unrivaled. However, there was a fact that could not be ignored. The Dragon's Gate was destroyed at the hands of the Qing Emperor. What Xiao Chun hoped for was a healthy Dragon's Gate, one that could continue the inheritance of the Dragon's Gate sect masters. Even if Xiao Chun died one day, the spirit of the Dragon's Gate could continue on, never to be extinguished. However, this seemingly simple desire was filled with variables. The factions that feared the Dragon's Gate were not willing to see the words Dragon's Gate reappear in the world. This time, Xiao Chun wanted to make his stance known to the world. Xiao Chun was a descendant of the Qing Emperor. The Xiao clan's bloodline flowed in his veins. He was duty-bound to rebuild the Dragon's Gate. Why did he have to act like a thief and hide? It was not like he was doing something shameful. As Mo Chun watched Xiao Chun stroll around the plaza in a daze, she understood his pain. Too many factions in the Kunlun realm feared the words Dragon's Gate. No matter how simple Xiao Chen's wish was, in the eyes of these people, they absolutely could not let Xiao Chun fulfill it. When Xiao Chun made the decision to announce the rebuilding of the Dragon's Gate to the world, the one under the most pressure would definitely be Xiao Chun. When the news spread, it would definitely shake up the entire Kunlun realm. On that day, the insignificant Heavenly Star Island might not be able to withstand such pressure. Xiao Chun had obviously considered all of this, but he still made this decision without any hesitation. Big brother Xiao Chun, what are you thinking about? Mo Chen laughed, interrupting Xiao Chen's thoughts. Xiao Chan recovered his wits and smiled. He did not give a direct answer. He opened his palm, and a flower appeared. It was the dragon blood flowers that he found in the dragon grave. There is nothing to thank you for. These are dragon blood flowers that I found in an 8-star dragon grave. Take them. Under the veil, Emo-chan revealed a joyful smile. She cupped her hands together and accepted the flowers. The flowers drifted down from Xiao Chen's hands and piled up in Emo-chen's hands. Hee. The dragon blood flower is an extremely rare existence. If I bring these flowers to the auction of the Heaven Dragon in the lower realm, they will definitely cause a huge commotion, Emo-chan said with a smile. Xiao Chen stopped what he was doing and said, "It's best if you don't. Keep them for yourself. I still have other treasures that can be placed in the auction. These are my gifts to you." Emo-chan nodded and carefully put away the dragon blood flowers. "Whatever you say. Come, I'll bring you to the Dragon's Gates mountain tablet. That place has already become a forbidden land of Heavenly Star Island." Xiao Chan was very curious about the Dragon's Gates mountain tablet as well. He really wanted to take a look. What exactly was inside the mountain tablet that allowed Emo-chan and Lan Xiaobai to improve so much? Through Emo-chen's conversation, Xiao Chen learned that Lan Xiaobai had accidentally touched this mountain tablet and discovered its mysteries. After entering, he found himself in an ancient battlefield. After killing his way out of the battlefield and arriving in the real world, he was shocked to discover that the martial techniques that he practiced in the illusion could be used in the real world. However, at this moment, only an instant had passed in the real world. After hearing Emo-chen's explanation, Xiao Chan could not help but feel even more interested. To think that the things that he learned in the illusion could be used in the real world. Furthermore, no matter how much time passed in the illusion, it was just the blink of an eye in the real world. To cultivators whose time was precious, this was simply a great killing tool. After a while, the two left Heaven Dragon City and arrived at the foot of the tallest peak of Heavenly Star Island. This peak towered into the clouds. Spiritual energy lingered around it, and it was lush and green. Xiao Chen had chosen this peak to be the Dragon's Gates summit long ago. There were many talented children on the mountain who received the teachings of Yu, Jin Lin, Lu Ku, and the others. They were the future of the Dragon's Gate. This was the Dragon's Gate's summit in the first place. Furthermore, the existence of the mountain tablet made this place even more important. Hence, the masters of Lan Xiaobai and Lan Tianji personally oversaw this place. To prevent information from leaking out, aside from a few trustworthy people, the Dragon's Gate's mountain tablet was not given to anyone else. Halfway up the mountain, Xiao Chun saw this Dragon's Gate's mountain tablet in a secluded and quiet place. Xiao Chun had chosen the location of the mountain tablet himself. The mountain tablet was made of heaven-subduing rock. When placed at a suitable location, it could guard luck and gather the surrounding geomancy. The Qing Emperor had written the words Dragon's Gate on the mountain tablet. Every stroke of the two ancient words was like a powerful bladesman brandishing a treasure saber, clean and efficient, boundlessly free and at ease. Near the Dragon's Gate's mountain tablet, Xiao Chun saw two people seated cross-legged with their eyes closed. Their expressions changed continuously as if they were in some kind of illusion. Gong Yangyu and Xianyuan Zhantian. Xiao Chun raised his eyebrows. Why are these two old friends from the Sky Dome realm here? Emo-chan explained, Heaven Dragon City has recently become famous. Furthermore, this is your territory. Many of your cultivators pretended to be your old friends and came to join you. However, most of them were swindlers. Chun-Shi saw through them and verified their identities. You should know them, right? Xiao Chen nodded to indicate that he knew them. Then, he revealed a faint smile on his face. It was good that they came. People tended to reminisce about the past. Furthermore, the Dragon's Gate needed these outstanding talents to join it. Now, the name of the Blue Dragon King, Xiao Chun, was already known to everyone in this vast and boundless oceanic world. The stories about Xiao Chun spread like wildfire, like he was a living legend. It was not strange for people to pretend to be his old friends and come to Heavenly Star Island. Where's Senior Lon? Why don't I see him? Xiao Chun asked, finding it strange as he looked around. Wasn't Senior Lan supposed to personally guard this place? Haha, even you could discover him. In that case, I'm called the life-reaping Azura for nothing. Lan Xiaofeng silently appeared beside Xiao Chun. It was like he had been there for a long time. Then, he disappeared without a trace. This startled Xiao Chun. No wonder even a sovereign martial emperor feared him. If the other party wanted to kill him, he would not even know how he died. Lan Xiaofeng smiled as he looked at Xiao Chun. That pair of eyes made Xiao Chun feel like he could not hide any secrets. Not bad. It looks like the rumors are true. Little friend, your harvest this year is pretty good. Xiao Chun asked. Senior already knows about it. Lan Xiaofeng nodded and said, News travels very fast in Emperor Wu's circle. You are one of the hottest topics in our circle. Even if I do not leave my residence, I know about your various exploits in the Dragon Grave Sea, the Dark Sea, and the Human Demon Sea. Xiao Chun did not find this strange. Emperor Wu was the peak of the entire Kunlun realm. Ordinary people would find it hard to see or hear news about them. However, that did not mean that they did not exist. They paid attention to the entire Kunlun realm at all times. There was no major matter that they did not know about. As the two spoke in riddles, Imochen could not make heads or tails of their conversation. However, she could tell there was good news about Xiao Chun, so she did not mind. You are here to check out this Dragon's Gates mountain tablet, right? This mountain tablet is indeed profound. Even someone of my cultivation actually got lost in the illusions. When Lan Xiaofeng mentioned the Dragon's Gates mountain tablet, he also appeared shocked, unable to understand it. Xiao Chun rejoiced in his heart. Senior can use this Dragon's Gates mountain tablet? I can use it, but it is not very useful. After all, after advancing to Martial Emperor, the cultivation of law energy is no longer of much use. I have already tested it. There is no way to cultivate primordial energy in there. It is more for cultivating law energy and tempering one's combat techniques, Lan Xiaofeng explained. This is not bad. If I have time in the future, I can come and experience it properly. After chatting with Lan Xiaofeng for a long time, Gong Yangyu and Xinyuan Zhantian woke up one after another. When the two saw Xiao Chun, they naturally showed pleasant surprise on their faces. Xiao Chun had always been easygoing to his own people, never putting on airs. This made Gong Yangyu and Xinyuan Zhantian feel that they had come to the right place. After saying their goodbyes, Imo Chun led Xiao Chun to the top of the mountain. There, he saw Yu, who was currently teaching a group of youths martial arts. Xiao Chun could not tell that this Yu was originally a pampered young Mississippi. Now, when she taught a group of children, she was very methodical and had the proper bearing. Her aura had changed greatly. Originally, Xiao Chun had been planning to observe quietly before visiting an old friend. However, the sharp-eyed Yu discovered him. She immediately dragged him out excitedly, wanting him to teach this group of children on the spot. She even wanted him to take a disciple. Right now, how could Xiao Chun have any intention of taking a disciple? However, he did not know how to deal with Yu's coaxing and pestering. In the end, Imo Chun, who had been watching from the side for a long time, smiled happily and helped Xiao Chun resolve this problem. However, Xiao Chun still promised Yu that after he advanced to Martial Emperor, he would come and take a disciple. After that, the two went to visit Yu Qinxi, Jinlin, Lu Ku, and Xiao Xian, the first batch of people who had followed Xiao Chun to Heavenly Star Island of their own volition. When Xiao Chun saw that these people's cultivations all improved at a startling rate, he relaxed. In the end, he did not let them down. Back then, when these people agreed to come, Xiao Chun was most worried that staying on Heavenly Star Island would affect their cultivation in the Haotian sect. Now, it looked like his worries were unfounded. If they had remained in the Haotian sect, they would not have improved as much as they did now. Chapter 12:57. Unknowingly, the sky had already turned dark. However, Xiao Chun was in high spirits. After being outside for a year, he felt like he had returned home. He could not get enough of the sights. Imo Chun tirelessly led Xiao Chun around, bringing him to the refining pavilion on Black Flame Island. The scene of more than 10,000 blacksmiths of the Mo clan refining treasures at the same time was rather shocking. This sight made Xiao Chun unable to resist himself, so he also joined in to satisfy his cravings. When the sky was about to brighten, Chun brought Xiao Chun to her winery to rest and savor the wine that she personally brewed. When they arrived at the winery, Xiao Chun remembered the matter that he promised the Flame Rock Sovereign, so he took the opportunity to mention it to Chun. Chun smiled gently and said, "This is a small matter. Big brother Xiao Chun, just give me the instructions." At this moment, the sky was turning bright. The rising sun would soon bring boundless light and sweep away the darkness of the entire world. The two drank and chatted, not planning to go anywhere for now. They would watch the sunrise first. The morning sun arrived as scheduled. The sunrise over the sea was something one could never get tired of watching. This was the rising sun that represented a new life. Every time one looked at it, one would feel surging hope, filling one with fighting spirit. Chun elegantly drained the wine in her cup. Then she said, "Big brother Xiao Chun, there are actually many places in Heaven Dragon City that you have not been to yet. Today, I'll bring you to the merchant district first. The people in charge of those merchant associations all want to meet you." "All right," Xiao Chun happily agreed. Those large merchant associations were the gods of wealth of Heaven Dragon City. There were only benefits to befriending these people. "Miss Chun, there is news from the transportation formation. It says that honored guests will be arriving soon, and they want you to make preparations." Just at this moment, a guard quickly walked over from the pavilion, bringing a letter. Chun took the letter and glanced at it. Then, her expression changed slightly as she handed it to Xiao Chun. "Trouble is here. I'm afraid that we can't continue walking around today. Why did the three holy masters send people over?" Xiao Chun asked with a slight frown after reading the letter. Actually, the letter said Bushin Palace. However, right now, the Thunder King did not care about Bushin Palace. The three holy masters were in charge. To Xiao Chun, there was no difference between the Bushin Palace and the three holy masters. Chun said slowly, "I have a bad feeling." Xiao Chun put away the letter and thought for a while. "I have a bad feeling." Chun waved her hand and dismissed the person, not wanting to disturb Xiao Chun's thoughts. In name, Heavenly Star Island was still under the jurisdiction of the Martial God Palace. Furthermore, it was different from the sects that joined the Martial God Palace. Dragon, heave, Chun, heavenly, heave, Chun was under, he dragon, Heavenly Star Island was somewhat special. Back then, before the people of the three holy masters left, they destroyed many of the buildings on the island, even the transportation formations. However, Xiao Chun's conferred land was rather special. Back then, before the three Holy Lands people left, they destroyed several buildings on the island, even the transportation formation. Back then, the Bushin Palace did not mention the proportion of the profits from the conferred land. This was because they did not believe that Xiao Chun could develop, and they did not care about this small amount of profit. What else could the Bushin Palace have to send people to assist and protect Xiao Chun? Aside from envy, Xiao Chun could not think of any other reason. Why did the Bushin Palace send people now? Aside from jealousy, Xiao Chun could not think of any other reason. Xiao Chun did not like the people of the three holy masters at all. During the king conferral ceremony, the three holy masters made things difficult for him in secret. When Xiao Chun arrived at the human demon paradise, the three holy masters even sent people over, openly falling out with him. Chun knew that Xiao Chun did not like this group of people. She suggested softly, "How about we turn off the transportation formations to the Bushin Palace and ignore this group of people?" All the transportation formations in the Bushin Palace system were connected. However, the transportation formations were like the airports of Xiao Chun's previous life. He could freely choose which routes to turn off. Once the transportation formations were turned off, the people of the Bushin Palace would not be able to teleport over. Xiao Chun said after some thought, "There's no need. The people of the other party sent this time are extraordinary. Even if we turn off the transportation formations, we might not be able to delay them for long. Instead, it will give them an excuse to reprimand us. Go and inform all the upper echelon of Heavenly Star Island to come. Give them the grandest reception. Let me see what kind of tricks these lackeys of the three holy lands have up their sleeves. Mo Chen's heart skipped a beat. Even turning off the transportation formations would not stop them. Could it be that the other party sent someone with Emperor Wu as their leader? Emperor Wu could tear space and move extremely fast. From the Kunlun continent to the heavenly starry ocean, he would only need half a day to cross this boundlessly long distance. 1 hour later, Xiao Chun, Lan Xiaobai, and Mo Chen stood together at the transportation formations of Heavenly Star Island. Yu Chenxi and the others stood behind them. All the core members of Heavenly Star Island were present, quietly waiting for the Bushan Palace's envoy to arrive. No one knew when the Bushan Palace's envoy would arrive. Lan Xiaobai took advantage of the free time to discuss the important points of the Dragon's Gate's re-establishment with Xiao Chun. Last night, I looked through many ancient texts. There are many grand re-establishment ceremonies in history. There are many etiquettes and ceremonies to take note of. I've organized them roughly. After this matter is over, you could take a look. Xiao Chun smiled and said, I'll leave this matter to you. Once you have the plan, you can make the arrangements yourself. I trust you. Xiao Chun's trust allowed Lan Xiaobai to release his bated breath. He was afraid of outsiders interfering in this matter. Since Xiao Chun was so assured, it would not be difficult to make the arrangements. The ancient re-establishment ceremonies are rather extravagant. I feel that we can omit some unnecessary things. The only thing is paying respects to the ancestors. We cannot be careless about this, Lan Xiaobai continued. Xiao Chun nodded. This was exactly what he wanted. The extravagance was not important. What was important was his responsibility to the ancestors of the Dragon's Gate. As Xiao Chun spoke, the transportation formation flickered with a multicolored light. The two stopped talking, and everyone's expressions turned grave. Everyone knew that this person did not come with good intentions and would not be easy to deal with. The light stopped flickering, and a fiery red azure luan appeared in the center of the transportation formation. The azure luan possessed the bloodline of the vermilion bird, an ancient mutated beast. It represented a noble status and possessed extremely strong control over fire. This azure luan exuded a strong aura. Xiao Chun estimated that even if his 4 deep-sea flood dragons worked together, they would not be a match for this azure luan. There was a total of 5 people on the back of the azure luan. All of them wore the faint golden clothes of the Bushan Palace. Of the 5, one was the most special. The others were all standing, but he sat on the back of the azure luan, resting with his eyes closed. This person did not look old. A picture of the vermilion bird, a divine bird, was embroidered on his collar. He must be an elder of the Phoenix's Passion Palace, a holy land. When Mo Chen saw this person, she felt startled. Xiao Chun was right. Emperor Wu was indeed among the people who came. He had some doubts in his heart. He did not know how Xiao Chun was able to predict this, to be able to guess it. Actually, it was not hard to guess. In a human-demon paradise, Xiao Chun had killed many half-step Emperor Wu by himself. The people of the 3 holy masters' land already understood that without Emperor Wu, they would not be able to suppress Xiao Chun. The azure luan covered in flames spread its wings, and the divine beast bloodline, flowing in its body, spread out, pressing down on Xiao Chun's side. Whoosh! Under the pressure of this aura, some people on Xiao Chun's side could not stand stably, feeling strained. After all, the azure luan's blood contained a trace of the vermilion bird's bloodline. After this divine beast bloodline was activated, ordinary people would find it hard not to be suppressed. The leader of the people on the azure luan's back revealed a cold smile. It looked like they were doing this on purpose to put on a show of strength to Xiao Chun's group. Just as Xiao Chun was preparing to deal with this divine might alone, Little Yellow Feather suddenly came out of the immortal spirit ring. The moment the palm-sized Little Yellow Feather came out, it easily neutralized the divine might from the azure luan. After the huge azure luan saw Little Yellow Feather, its flames burned endlessly. It trembled slightly. The Bushan Palace's envoy on the azure luan's back also started shaking. The leader did his best to control the azure luan, but it was useless. Little Yellow Feather's figure suddenly enlarged. It glared at the azure luan, thoroughly frightening it. A strong wind blew, and the azure Luan retreated in horror. It prostrated itself on the ground, trembling. This sudden change happened in an instant. The 4 or 5 people on the azure Luan's back were caught off guard, and they were flung off. Aside from the middle-aged man with the vermilion bird embroidered on his collar, the other 4 fell to the ground, covered in dust. Only then did they quickly stand back up. Little yellow feather flapped its belly with one of its wings in the air as it laughed, looking incredibly cute. The group of people from Heavenly Star Island could not help laughing as well. Even Xiao Chun could not help revealing a smile on his face. Is it very funny? Xiao Chun, is this how you treat the Bushin Palace's envoy? Everyone says that you are arrogant and conceited, considering everyone else beneath you. Today, I finally get to see it for myself. The leader of the group suppressed his anger as he walked over to accuse Xiao Chun. The middle-aged Emperor Wu, who was seated cross-legged, seemed to move in slow motion. He opened his eyes in the air and slowly landed on the ground. A formless emperor's might, working together with the leader of the group, swept over silently. The fight unfolded invisibly. The golden crow holy beast helped Xiao Chun gain a small victory. Then, the other party's Emperor Wu immediately made a move, unleashing his emperor's might. Indeed, those who came did not come with good intentions. How arrogant! Do you know who I am? I am Wang Feng, one of the 10 patrolling elders of the Bushin Palace. That person over there is Elder Xing of the Law Enforcement Hall. He kills the traitors of the Bushin Palace and has the authority to act first and report later. The patrolling elder named Wang Feng showed a sullen expression as he pressed forward. Who gave you the courage to be so rude to us? Are you trying to rebel? A strong aura, combined with that Elder Xing's emperor's might, made it hard for the group to breathe. Isn't it just a moment of carelessness and falling off the bird's back? Why are you putting on airs, trying to accuse us of such a big crime? Jean Lin had a fiery temper. He simply could not stand the other party's aloof attitude, so he could not help saying this angrily. Wang Feng mocked. Where did this trash come from? You don't even know the rules. Do you have the right to speak here? Xiao Qin smiled faintly and stretched out his hand to block Jean Lin. Then, he looked at Wang Feng and said, You want to talk to me about the rules? Very well, I will talk to you about the rules. Xiao Chun did not discipline his spirit beast well, causing it to be careless and frighten your azure Luan. I apologize to all of you. Chapter 1258. Wang Feng felt somewhat surprised at how rational Xiao Chun was, not angered into doing something rash. Wang Feng felt somewhat surprised. At the same time, he felt dissatisfied. If the other party did not make a mistake, he would not be able to catch him. He said coldly, This beast is frighteningly bold. Do you think it will be fine just because you apologized? Break one of its wings and punish it severely. Xiao Chun was being unreasonable. Everyone on Heavenly Star Island was enraged. This was completely unreasonable. If a holy beast broke one of its wings, it would be crippled. Xiao Chun's expression did not change. He went along with the other party's words and said, You are right, not wrong at all. However, spirit beasts are mischievous, but that is just their nature. The one at fault is me, the master. Blood spurted out. The one who should be punished should be me. I will receive this saber strike on his behalf. Without giving Wang Feng a chance to react, a short saber appeared in Xiao Chen's hand. Pu Ci. Then he stabbed it into his chest, causing blood to spurt out. Wang Feng was standing rather close to Xiao Chen. Blood splattered all over his face. He quickly took 3 steps back, somewhat frightened. How ruthless! Seeing the unchanging expression of Xiao Chun, this thought appeared in the hearts of the Bushin Palace's group. They were all shocked. Even Emperor Wu revealed a strange look in his eyes. Patrolling Elder, what do you think of this punishment? Xiao Chun asked coldly as he drew the bloody short saber. The blood on Wang Feng's face had not dried yet. As he looked at Xiao Chun, horror filled his eyes. When he heard Xiao Chen's words, his voice trembled as he said, Yes, yes. This matter is over. Let's go and talk about proper matters. A murderous intent flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. He shouted coldly, Who told you that this matter is over? How is it not over? Wang Feng felt somewhat weak from Xiao Chen's gaze. He did not know why, but he felt nervous. Xiao Chun continued. What did you just call me? Xiao Chun. If I don't call you Xiao Chun, what should I call you? Xiao Chun smiled coldly and said, Call me Xiao Chun. I earned 1,000,000 battle merits and was conferred the title of Blue Dragon King and personally appointed by the Thunder King. Anyone in the Bushin Palace who has not become an emperor is not allowed to call me by my name. Who gave you the guts to call me by my name? Are you doubting the prestige of the Thunder King and disapproving of my identity as the Blue Dragon King? Or do you have ulterior motives and are up to no good? Speak. Xiao Chun stepped forward, the killing intent in his words growing thicker. Finally, he shouted, causing Wang Feng to tremble. Wang Feng's heart thumped heavily, and cold sweat covered his back. His face was pale, and he could not say a word. I was wrong, Blue Dragon King. Wang Feng struggled to get up with great difficulty. Before Xiao Chen's domineering aura, he was forced to apologize. Do you think a simple apology is enough? That's not what you said earlier. Xiao Chen's expression didn't change at all. Wang Feng raised his head and demanded angrily, What do you want? Do you want to chop off one of my arms? Xiao Chun retorted coldly, Since you are following the rules and trying to frame me, then I will follow the rules as well. This king can follow the rules and kill you for the crime of great disrespect. Today, I will only chop off one of your arms. You should rejoice. The moment Xiao Chun said that, the air seemed to freeze. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chun really wanted to chop off one of this envoy's arms. How could that be? Stop! The law enforcement hall's Elder Xing immediately shouted. Whoosh! A saber light flashed. Xiao Chun ignored this cold shout. He drew the lunar shadow saber and directly chopped off Wang Feng's left arm, whose momentum had fallen to rock bottom. Ah! A miserable shriek rang out. Blood spurted out from the wound on Wang Feng's arm. He had not expected Xiao Chun to be so ruthless and bold, really chopping off one of his arms. Amid the miserable shriek, the group from Bushin Palace was frightened silly. After a while, they reacted and quickly picked up Wang Feng's severed arm. Then, they bandaged the wound. If they treated it in time, it would not be difficult to reattach the arm. However, it would definitely be much less nimble. You actually really attacked. Elder Xing could no longer suppress his rage. An overwhelming killing qi surged toward Xiao Chun. A heavy emperor's might pressed down on Xiao Chun like a mountain. Elder Xing walked towards Xiao Chun step by step. The entire place was tense. Lan Xiaobai and the others all placed their hands on their weapons. They did not have a good impression of the martial god palace. They had come to Heavenly Star Island step by step. These people, who established Heavenly Star Island step by step, did not agree to this. Under the leadership of the three holy masters, the Bushin Palace not only did not provide any help, but they even secretly played tricks on Heavenly Star Island. Without doing anything, Xiao Chun wanted to reap the fruits of his labor. These people, who established Heavenly Star Island, would never agree. As for Xiao Chun, this went without saying. The three holy masters had already shed all pretense of cordiality with him. If not for the fact that the three holy masters' minions still had the skin of Bushin Palace, these people would not have been able to come to his conferred land to flaunt their might. Xiao Chun would not show any mercy and teach them a deep lesson if these people came to his conferred land to flaunt their might. Now, Xiao Chun only broke one of Elder Xing's arms. Seeing Elder Xing walk over step by step, Xiao Chun did not show any fear. He faced him head-on, not showing any fear at all. Xiao Chun did not care about the first Heaven Emperor Wu's insignificant emperor's might. You injured a patrolling elder. According to the rules of Bushin Palace, I can kill you right now, Elder Xing said, enunciating every word. The law enforcement hall was a fearsome department within Bushin Palace. When dealing with rebels, they had the authority to act first and report later. Their methods were cold, and they did things cruelly. They were a great deterrent to the entire human race. This time, the three holy masters sent a law enforcement hall elder over for one of their main purposes. It was to intimidate Xiao Chun to prevent him from acting rashly. Who knew? Not only did Xiao Chun make a move, but he even chopped off one of Wang Feng's arms right in front of this elder. Elder Xing could not tolerate this at all. Since when did someone dare to make a move and injure someone in front of the law enforcement hall? Xiao Chen smiled coldly and said, Rules? Who was the one who did not follow the rules first? Who was the one who labeled me first? Who was the one who pointed at my nose and said that you broke one of my spirit beast's wings? Are you even qualified to talk to me about rules? Xiao Chen's words were like knives, drawing blood with every strike, forcing Elder Xing to be unable to find any rebuttal. I'm a law enforcement hall elder. I have the authority to act first and report later. I will kill you now, you disgraceful traitor. Elder Xing grew anxious and prepared to make a move, to show Xiao Chen the true rules. Rules were dead, but people were alive. Being stronger than you was the rule. Xiao Chen stepped forward and snorted coldly. Why don't you give it a try and see what kind of place this is? Let's see who kills who in the end. The upper echelon of Heavenly Star Island behind Xiao Chen, Lan Xiaobai, and the others, also stepped forward with a flourishing aura, pressing over. Where was this? This was Heavenly Star Island, the Blue Dragon King's conferred land. Everyone was united. Their aura and mentality instantly suppressed this Elder Xing, causing his actions to pause. Even further away, Elder Xing raised his head and accidentally saw a figure standing there silently. However, when Elder Xing looked carefully, he could not find that person. It was like that person had always been there, but it also seemed like he had never appeared. Elder Xing was startled. This time he was truly startled. Heavenly Star Island was filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. The upper echelon of the island were all extremely loyal to Xiao Chen. Their hearts were all united, and they all had the courage and boldness to face death calmly. Elder Xing, never mind. This time, I was the one who did not follow the rules first. You can't blame the Blue Dragon King. Let's talk about proper matters first. Wang Feng, who had just bandaged his wound, saw that the situation was not right, so he admitted defeat. With a cold harumph, Elder Xing walked to the back of the hall. The tense atmosphere relaxed. Mo Chun rushed over and removed the short saber from Xiao Chen's chest in one go, then helped him bandage his wound. Does it hurt? Mo Chun saw Xiao Chen's lips twitch, and she felt some heartache. This person was too ruthless to himself and ruthless to his enemies. Xiao Chen smiled and said, It's fine. Actually, there is no need to bandage it. The wound will close up on its own in a while. Nonsense. That way, you will die of pain. If I apply some medicine, it will lessen the pain, and you will recover faster. Mo Chen insisted. Xiao Chen smiled faintly, but he could only accept it helplessly. After bandaging Wang Feng's chest, Xiao Chen said, Jin Lin, lead the way for the envoys to the main hall of the city, Lord's residence. After saying that, Xiao Chen led a group of people over. Now, only the 5 envoys from Bushin Palace and Jin Lin, who was leading the way, remained around the transportation formation. No one else gave this group of envoys a second glance. No one liked this group of people. Jin Lin glanced at Wang Feng's wound and smiled. One-armed hero, please. You. When Wang Feng saw Jin Lin's mocking expression, he gritted his teeth hatefully. This person, whom he looked down on earlier, actually dared to mock him now. Jin Lin smiled and said, Sorry, I have a bad temper. That's just how I speak. If there is anything that is not pleasing to the eye, just keep it to yourself. In any case, one-armed hero, you do not care about me. After saying that, Xiao Chen flung his head back and took the lead, not caring whether this group of people could keep up or not. This is too much of a bully. If this fellow were in the Tianwu domain, this old man would have crippled him in minutes. Wang Feng cursed angrily. Unexpectedly, this minor character that he looked down on earlier was now riding on his head. Elder Xing looked around, seemingly wary of a certain figure. When he heard Wang Feng's words, a trace of impatience flashed in his eyes. This is Heavenly Star Island. You are flaunting your prowess here. It serves you right to chop off an arm. Damn! Wang Feng cursed. From the very start of this mission, everything had gone wrong. The proper matters would be even more difficult to handle. In the main hall of the city lord's residence, Xiao Chen sat in the host's seat in the center. Mo Chun and Lan Xiaobai stood on his left and right. On the right were Wang Feng and Elder Xing. It was not convenient for Wang Feng to drink tea with one hand. He only wanted to quickly finish the mission that the three holy masters gave him and quickly leave this place. I'll cut to the chase. Blue Dragon King, your conferred land has not signed a contract with the Bushin Palace to hand over the profits. This time, we are here to represent the Bushin Palace to discuss this. After you sign the contract, we will leave. Imo-chan received the contract from the other party and whispered a few words into Xiao Chen's ear. Then, Xiao Chan put down his teacup and smiled. Interesting. You want to take 30% of the profits without doing anything? How shameless are you? Wang Feng no longer had his initial arrogance. He said, the profits can be discussed. Furthermore, we do not need to do anything in the first place. The words Bushin Palace are sufficient. Xiao Chan found this somewhat funny. That's enough? Wang Feng said righteously. Of course. With the Bushin Palace behind you, who would dare to touch Heavenly Star Island? Just based on these 3 words, each word can take 10% of the profits. 3 words means 30%. Now we can negotiate. We only want 10% of the profits for your Heavenly Star Island. Chapter 12:59. Xiao Chun burst into laughter. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such a shameless person. After laughing until his stomach hurt a little, Xiao Chun seemed to agree with this statement. Yes, that makes sense. However, can we use the specialties of Heavenly Star Island to replace this profit? Can we guarantee that the quantity is unique? Wang Feng and Elder Xing exchanged glances. They felt that it was fine as long as they did not return empty-handed. Some of the specialties of Heavenly Star Island were rather valuable in the Kunlun continent. Sure, I wonder what specialty the Blue Dragon King intends to use. Is it Heavenly Star Island's secret treasures, fine wine, or divine, or? Wang Feng asked. Xiao Chan shook his head. None of them. There are more than that. As long as the 3 holy masters say so, we can have as many as we want. What is it? Xiao Chen's words piqued Wang Feng's interest. Xiao Chan smiled faintly. With a wave of his hand, he condensed 2 clumps of air and tossed them to Wang Feng and Elder Xing. What is this? Is this air? Wang Feng and Elder Xing asked, feeling confused. Xiao Chan said, That's right. That's right. It is the unique air of Heavenly Star Island. I will give you as much as you want. Wang Feng and Elder Xing immediately realized that they had been fooled. They stood up furiously and said, Xiao Chun, what is the meaning of this? Don't push your luck. Xiao Chun said calmly, I don't mean anything because the words Bushin Palace are like air here. Air for air, none of us will lose out. You're going too far. This was the first time that Elder Xing had been toyed with so miserably, and he couldn't hold himself back any longer. Dong dong dong. At this moment, a series of footsteps sounded, and a guard walked in. He cupped his hands and said, Castellan, there's urgent news from the city gate. The 2 young masters of the West Ocean Dragon Palace and the East Ocean Dragon Palace have arrived at the same time and requested to see you. The young masters of the West Ocean Dragon Clan and the East Ocean Dragon Clan came at the same time. The envoy from Bushin Palace was already troublesome enough to come at this time, and now there were 2 more. The Blue Dragon King has an honored guest. Haha. In that case, let's put this aside for now. When Wang Feng and Elder Xing heard this, they immediately knew that trouble had come for Xiao Chun. A smile appeared on his face, and he sat down at the same time, preparing to see how Xiao Chun would deal with 2 young masters at the same time. If Xiao Chun couldn't handle it, he could take the opportunity to teach him a lesson and let him know his place. Are the 2 of you not going to leave? Imo-chan, who was beside Xiao Chun, asked. The one-armed Wang Feng smiled and said, It's fine. We already know about the relationship between Heavenly Star Island and the Divine Dragon Palaces of the 4 seas. They're not very harmonious. Recently, their relationship with the West Ocean Dragon Palace was like fire and water. Since we're here, we naturally have to lend a hand and mediate. Elder Xing snorted coldly. Does the Blue Dragon King need you to mediate? Didn't you hear others say that we are heir? Wang Feng slapped his head and said, I forgot about that. In that case, Let's watch how the Blue Dragon King teaches the two young masters of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace and the Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace a lesson, raising the prestige of our Bushin Palace. The two echoed each other, clearly intending to watch a good show from the sidelines, waiting for Xiao Chun to make a fool of himself. Xiao Chun could not be bothered with them. He would deal with the situation as it came. He already had enough trouble. He did not mind the two young masters of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palaces coming at the same time. Then he waved his hand and instructed the guard, "Invite the two of them in." The guard hesitated for a while before asking, "Should we invite their attendants in as well?" Xiao Chun felt excited. The reason the guard hesitated to ask this question was probably because the attendants of these two were not simple. "It's fine. Let them in together," Xiao Chun said, decisively after thinking for a while. If these two wanted to watch a joke, then let's see who the joke was. Yes. The guard left to carry out the order. At this moment, Wang Feng and Elder Xing were much more relaxed. They drank tea and chatted casually, occasionally glancing at Xiao Chun. They wanted to see some suspicion on Xiao Chun's face. Without a doubt, they could not see anything. "I don't believe that he'll be able to hold on forever." Judging from the guard's tone, he's not going to be able to hold on. Based on that guard's tone, the two young masters of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palaces probably brought an expert of the same level as Emperor Wu. Heavenly Star Island has a mysterious Emperor Wu holding down the fort. A regular Emperor Wu would not be able to suppress him. It's fine. At that time, I might as well provoke him. Given his temper, he will definitely not let the person behind the scenes make a move. Furthermore, if he let the person behind the scenes make a move, he would be weaker than the two Divine Dragon Palaces. In front of the two Dragon Palaces, they are inferior. You should know that the Dragon Palace Masters are not here. As long as he dares to make a move, I will personally teach him a lesson. When have I, the bona fide Emperor Wu, ever been fooled by a junior? The two sent voice transmissions discussing countermeasures. They had to make good use of this opportunity that was presented to them. Not long after, Lung Xiaofan and another young man in a red dragon robe walked into the main hall. An old man followed each of them. Indeed, the two old men were first Heaven Martial Emperors, Emperor Wu. As they walked, they had a majestic gait. Their auras were like mountains, and their gazes were like sabers, deterring others from looking directly at them. The moment the four entered, they discovered Wang Feng and Elder Xing, who were seated at the side. They revealed suspicious expressions in their eyes. Before Xiao Chun could say anything, Wang Feng smiled and said, "The two of you should be the young masters of the Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace and the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace. We are the elders of the Law Enforcement Hall and the Inspection Institution of the Bushin Palace. We're just here to drink tea. The few of you can just ignore us. In the eyes of the Blue Dragon King, we are just air." The moment Wang Feng said that, smiles appeared in the eyes of Lung Xiaofan and that youth. They had long heard that the Blue Dragon King did not get along with the three holy masters in charge of the Bushin Palace. It looked like the rumor was true. After the casual greetings, Lung Xiaofan looked at Xiao Chun and said, "Brother Xiao, is my Flood Dragon war chariot good enough?" Xiao Chun smiled calmly and said, "Many thanks for Brother Lung's gift. There are not many people who can be as generous as Brother Lung. It is passable for me." Lung Xiaofan's face sank as he said angrily, "Don't give me that. If you do not return the war chariot to me today, don't blame me for not giving you face. Even the Thunder King cannot cover for snatching the war chariot of my Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace." The red-clad youth at the side said, "You drained an elder of my Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace until he became an idiot. You have to give us an explanation today. Don't go overboard with some things." What a fellow! Wang Feng and Elder Xing both sucked in a breath of cold air. They had not expected Xiao Chun to be so bold. Not only did he snatch the war chariot of the Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace's young palace master, but he also drained an elder of the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace until he became an idiot. Lung Xiaofan and Elder Xing did not stand on ceremony with Xiao Chun at all. This time, they brought Emperor Wu here, intending to forcefully suppress Xiao Chun and make him submit. Perhaps they could force the person behind the scenes to make a move. That way, the palace masters of the Eastern and Western Dragon Palaces would have an excuse to make a move. Wang Feng looked around and took advantage of the situation to say, Blue Dragon King Xiao Chun, don't go overboard. Since you snatched the war chariot, then return it to someone else. Even if you injured someone, you have to apologize. Otherwise, you will not be able to bear the consequences of ruining the reputation of my Bushin Palace. Lung Xiaofan's group felt surprised. Unexpectedly, this person from the Bushin Palace actually spoke up for them. Now, they felt even more confident. Xiaochen glanced over and smiled coldly. Since when do I need you to tell me what to do? Who do you think you are? I'm the patrolling elder of the Bushin Palace. I have the authority to protect the reputation of the Bushin Palace. What you did ruined the reputation of my Bushin Palace, so I have to do something about it. Xiao Chun smiled and said, Is it up to you to do something about it? Groveling and groveling like you, clearly admitting that you were wrong, is ruining the reputation of my Bushin Palace. Are you even fit to be a patrolling elder? I think you are muddled and need to clear your head. Pa! Xiao Chen's figure flashed. His speed was boundlessly fast. Before Wang Feng could react, a five-fingered handprint appeared on his face. You dare to slap me? Wang Feng roared angrily as he rubbed his face. Xiao Chan said coldly, Let me see if your skin is made of flesh or not. To think that you are this shameless. To think that you are actually speaking up for an outsider on my Heavenly Star Island. I have long found the people of the three holy masters' lands an eyesore. You delivered yourself to me and even dare to criticize me. Do you really think that I am easy to bully? This slap is aimed at you. You better behave yourself. If you speak out of turn again, I will take your life. Xiao Chen's forcefulness stunned Wang Feng. He rubbed his face for a long time, unable to say anything. When Wang Feng saw the disdainful gaze of Lung Xiaofan's group, his face burned even hotter. The Patrolling Institute was different from the Law Enforcement Hall. It was not a powerless organization. Instead, it was an organization with real authority within the Bushin Palace. The Patrolling Institute had a lot of authority. Normally, it was awe-inspiring and did not need to be particularly strong. However, Wang Feng, who was used to being awe-inspiring in the Bushin Palace, did not expect him to not follow the rules, not caring about the three holy masters at all, daring to humiliate Elder Xing like that. Xiao Chun, don't go overboard. Elder Xing could no longer endure it. No matter what, he had to teach this brat a lesson. Otherwise, he would really become lawless. I'm going overboard? Xiao Chun laughed loudly and stood up. I know what you are thinking now. I also know that you have endured for a long time. I'll give you this chance now. If you can defeat me fair and square, I will return this Heavenly Star Island with both hands. If you lose, scram immediately. Xiao Chun spoke the words in his heart first. Elder Xing felt like something was stuck in his throat. It was extremely unbearable. And you all? Xiao Chun shifted his gaze and looked at Lung Xiaofan and the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's young palace master. Since you even brought Emperor Wu over, why the need to speak so much nonsense? Let's settle the matters between cultivators in a duel between cultivators. I will do as you all wish. As Emperor Wu, do you all dare to fight with me? A consummation blue-robed emperor? As long as one of you can defeat me, I will leave immediately. The silent Xiao Chun suddenly erupted, startling the group of people. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Xiao Chun took the initiative to challenge the three Emperor Wu without any provocation. What Xiao Chun said was what these people were thinking. However, for some reason, when Xiao Chun said it himself, the three Emperor Wu felt it was strange. Instead, they did not dare to say anything. Should they agree or not? They fell into a momentary state of anxiety. Lan Xiaobai and Mo Chun exchanged glances. They both saw worry in each other's eyes. Elder Xing agreed to it. This fellow is reckless. Let's fulfill his wish today, Wang Feng said impatiently, his face burning. Wang Feng said in a rush, his face burning. As he looked at Xiao Chun, he gritted his teeth in hatred. Chapter 1260. However, Elder Xing hesitated. Recently, there was a piece of news circulating in Emperor Wu's circle. It was extremely explosive. The Qing Emperor's descendant comprehended the sharp spirit finger, the flame rock sovereign's consummate technique, in 10 days in the Black Sea. Originally, Elder Xing felt that this rumor was too fake. How could someone comprehend the secret of a sovereign martial emperor in 10 days? That was a bit too nonsensical. It was simply unbelievable. However, based on Xiao Qian's current appearance, filled with confidence, could he have really comprehended the sharp spirit finger? If that was the case, it would be problematic. The sharp spirit finger could gather all the energy in the body at one point. With Xiao Qian's current cultivation, this sharp spirit finger would be sufficient to injure them. After all, they were only first heaven emperor Wus. Before cultivators who had not advanced to martial emperor, even if they were half-step emperor Wus, they were aloof existences. However, in Emperor Wu's circle, they were at the bottom. Elder Xing agreed to his request. What are you hesitating for? After we win, we will be able to complete our mission perfectly. Seeing that Elder Xing still did not agree, Wang Feng could not help feeling anxious. However, Elder Xing cursed Wang Feng in his heart for being an idiot. Even the 2 Emperor Wus of the Divine Dragon Palaces are not anxious. Why is this fellow so anxious? He is Emperor Wu. It is natural for him to win. However, if he lost to Xiao Chun, his reputation would be completely ruined. If that happened, his reputation would be completely ruined. From then on, he would become a big joke in the circle of martial emperors. The 2 Emperor Wus of the Divine Dragon Palaces also thought the same and did not make a decision. They wanted to wait for Elder Xing to speak first. Then, they could see Xiao Qian's strength first before making a decision. This was a foolproof plan. Just like that, they waited for each other. The place became strangely quiet. When faced with Xiao Qian's forceful request for a battle, the 3 Emperor Wus remained silent at the same time. No one would believe that a mere blue-robed emperor in the Great Perfection realm could make all 3 Emperor Wu stay silent out of caution. Xiao Qian laughed out loud. His presumptuous laughter was filled with mockery. No wonder you guys are only Emperor Wu of the first heaven. With such courage, I guess you guys will never have the courage to go through the thunder tribulation of the second heaven. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, then scram. I don't have time to waste with you. Send the guests out. The 3 Emperor Wus were so angry that they were shaking. But the more Xiao Qian acted like this, the more they felt that he was unfathomable. It wasn't that they were afraid of Xiao Qian. They were just afraid of the 1 in a million possibility of it happening to them. For an Emperor Wu to defeat a great perfection blue-robed emperor, the victory was not glorious at all. It was only natural. However, if there was such a 1 in a million possibility of defeat, then it was over. They would become Xiao Qian's stepping stones, unable to raise their heads for the rest of their lives. Furthermore, along the way, there were simply too many legends about him. When facing such a man, it was hard to choose between a rock and a hard place. When Xiao Qian said to send the guests off, the few Emperor Wu's faces flashed with shame. Send the guests off? Xiao Qian, don't think that you can resolve today's matter so easily. I don't believe that you are so strong that there are no limits. Lung Xiaofan felt aggrieved. He had brought Emperor Wus here to humiliate Xiao Qian and take back his Flood Dragon war chariot. Who knew that under Xiao Qian's forceful request for a battle, the Emperor Wu he had brought would actually cower? This was unacceptable to Lung Xiaofan. In his impulse, Lung Xiaofan wanted to attack Xiao Qian directly. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's red-clad young palace master roared furiously and charged over together with Lung Xiaofan. Youthful and arrogant, Lung Xiaofan and the red-clad young palace master gave off a sharpness that was much stronger than that of the 3 older generation Emperor Wus. While the others were fearful and apprehensive, Lung Xiaofan and the red-clad young palace master did not need to worry so much. At worst, they would just lose. Lung Xiaofan just could not stand Xiao Qian's current strong aura. Xiao Qian smiled and said, "You overestimate yourself. Lung Xiaofan, do you still think that I am the white-robed Xiao Qian who came to the heavenly starry ocean 3 years ago? Today, let me tell you that the gap between us is 10,000 times larger than you imagine. Back then, for the sake of the Neptune headscarf, you schemed against me. Today, I will return it to you. Kneel for me." When facing the charging Lung Xiaofan, Xiao Chun could not be bothered to think about the flaws in his opponent's moves. He simply threw a palm strike, directly using force to break technique. Xiao Chun used his strong cultivation and strength to crush all the other party's techniques. When Xiao Chen's palm strike landed, it was like the sky collapsed. Lung Xiaofan felt all the state and aura of his martial technique crumble in that instant. Xiao Chen's palm strike expanded infinitely in Lung Xiaofan's eyes. His heart sank for some reason. Horror spread throughout Lung Xiaofan's entire body. He was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. He wanted to retreat, but found that it was already too late. "Pa!" Xiao Chen's palm landed on Lung Xiaofan's shoulder, and primordial energy flowed out of his palm. This was a strong energy that Lung Xiaofan had only seen from his seniors. It flowed through his entire body, and he fell to his knees. Purple primordial energy flowed through Lung Xiaofan's body. The strong restriction instantly rendered him immobile, and he could only kneel. Compared to Lung Xiaofan, the red-clad youth's cultivation was weaker. The instant Lung Xiaofan wanted to retreat, Xiao Chun sucked hard and pulled him back. Xiao Chun smacked down with his left hand, and he fell to his knees beside Lung Xiaofan with a plop. The two knelt at nearly the same time. From the moment they attacked to the moment Xiao Chun restrained them, all happened in the time it took for a spark to fly. The two Emperor Wu behind them could not stop them at all. This resulted in Lung Xiaofan and the red-clad youth being humiliated by Xiao Chun for nothing. "Young master," the Eastern Sea Divine Dragon Palace's yellow-clad old man was the first to react. He exclaimed. With a flash, his figure moved so fast that no one could catch him. Soon, he arrived before Xiao Chun. The other person took this opportunity to arrive before Lung Xiaofan and the red-clad youth, wanting to make a move and remove the restriction on them. The other party charged over ferociously. Xiao Chun took a step back. With each step, 3 lightning whirlpools appeared on his chest. "You are truly boundlessly arrogant. To think that you dare to attack the young master. Don't blame this old man for disregarding seniority and attacking you." The yellow-clad old man attacked in rage. Everywhere his palm wind passed, it tore apart the air, giving off an intense light. In an instant, the tables and chairs in the main hall shattered, and the entire city lord's residence shook violently. Mo Chun and Lan Xiaobai immediately flashed out at the same time. This level of exchange was no longer something they could interfere in. If not for the newly built Heaven Dragon City being a secret treasure in itself, the main hall would have collapsed. Xiao Chun was not startled or angry. He was not anxious or impatient. He prepared the sharp spirit finger and counted in his heart. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, kill. After the sharp spirit finger finished preparing, Xiao Chen's sullen face suddenly surged with killing chi. 9 lightning whirlpools appeared in his chest, giving off thousands of lightning bolts. All the energy gathered on his fingertip. The light in the main hall dimmed. Only the electric light on Xiao Chen's fingertip remained as dazzling as the sun. Pussy-eye. Blood spurted out, and the yellow-clad old man went flying. A black hole appeared in his palm, and half his palm disappeared. You really comprehended the sharp spirit finger, the consummate technique of the flame rock sovereign, the yellow-clad old man exclaimed in disbelief as he looked at his palm in a daze. The yellow-clad old man's heart trembled. Fortunately, he had not been careless with his earlier palm strike and used all 100 strands of primordial energy. If he had been careless, his entire arm would have been blown off. The sharp spirit finger allowed the flame rock sovereign's fame to spread far and wide. Even primes did not dare to casually touch this consummate technique. It truly lived up to its reputation. Oh no, there is primordial energy in the 2 young palace masters' bodies. We cannot casually remove the restrictions. On the other side, the black-clothed old man's forehead was also drenched in cold sweat. An anxious look flashed across his eyes. The Divine Dragon Palace's young palace master and the sweating black-clad old man looked at the yellow-clad old man, who was in a daze. Xiao Chun had complete control over the situation. Even Emperor Wu might not be omnipotent against him. To Emperor Wu, who cultivated the golden body, losing half his palm was not a serious injury. Even if his heart was blown up, given a certain amount of time, he would be able to recover. However, the golden body of a first Heaven Martial Emperor had not reached the point where it could recover instantly. His arm was temporarily crippled, and his combat prowess immediately dropped by 30%. When a yellow-clad old man saw the missing palm, he looked at Xiao Chun. Shock and rage flashed in his eyes. There was also a faint fear in his eyes. With the sharp spirit finger, this fellow really had the ability to fight against First Heaven Emperor Wu. Xiao Chun quickly removed the restrictions on the two young palace masters. If anything happens to the young palace masters, the Eastern Sea Dragon King and the Western Sea Dragon King will absolutely not let you off. The black-clad old man could not remove the restrictions. Sweat covered his forehead as he roared at Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun said indifferently, "Watch your attitude. So what if I kill these two people? Don't forget that they were the ones who attacked me first. If you shout again, I will cripple these two people." When the black-clad old man heard that, he asked sullenly, "What do I have to do for you to release them?" "It's very simple. Someone, help me write 2 contracts. Young Master Lung, didn't you come to ask for the war chariot? Now, sign here and hand over the war chariot to me. Furthermore, compensate me for the loss of 10,000 essence stones." Didn't this Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's young palace master want my Heavenly Star Island to hand over the profits? Now, sign here and guarantee that the Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace will never mention this matter again and compensate me with 10,000 essence stones as well. The moment Xiao Chun made his request, the 2 Divine Dragon Palace old men became enraged. 10,000 essence stones? Are you crazy? How can we possibly take that out? 10,000 essence stones equaled all the wealth of First Heaven Emperor Wu. Even if they could take it out, they could not bear to do so. Xiao Chun retorted calmly, "Is that so? You can't bear to take it out, but the Divine Dragon Palace can. After repeatedly coming to my Heaven Dragon City to cause trouble, do you really think that there is no interest at all? You, this is too much of a bully." Xiao Chun smiled and said, "Seniors, you're being too serious. This little one is just a consummation blue-robed emperor. How could I dare to bully the aloof Emperor Wu? If you're not willing, then so be it. Someone, send our guest off." Ignoring the 2 old men who were so angry that they trembled, Xiao Chun continued, "The weather is cold, and it is so cold at night. It would not be good for the 2 young palace masters to injure themselves by kneeling like this. Remember to add some blankets for them at night." "Agree to it." Lung Xiaofan could not move at all. He glared at Xiao Chun and said through gritted teeth. The Western Sea Divine Dragon Palace's young palace master felt very sullen, but he still said the same thing. Lung Xiaofan was not even willing to kneel here for a moment. How could one kneel for another night? Absolutely not.